What they talking about? They ain't talking about none. What they talking about? They ain't talking about none. What they talking about? They ain't talking about none. What they talking about? They ain't talking about none. Huh? They ain't talking about none. Aye. What they talking about? They ain't talking about none. What they talking about? They ain't talking about none. What they talking about? They ain't talking about none. What they talking about? They ain't talking about none. Huh? They ain't talking about none. Pickable, I just put them bookers in my chain. Pickable, 80 pointers like a Kobe game. Pickable, 7.62s will make them plain. Pickable, popping out, you better smell my name. Pickable, put 2 foreigns on the 4-5. Pickable, catch pepper here from doing pasta. Pickable, why you acting tough when IG live? Pickable, you know my little niggas off they rocker.
Previously on Music for Breakfast.
For this man to come on stage and freestyle turtleneck.
You should take off that turtleneck. Anytime you feel like a take off that turtleneck.
Had me hitting the Jodeci with. Ooh, yeah. Then you brought Jamie.
Jamie, come on, pod, motherfucking.
And I forgot I was at Versus.
Changed the energy in the room.
I thought it was the Jamie and Tank show.
But then he lost it when he brought out Trey songs, in my opinion.
When we
oh my.
Having Trey come back to do the remix after he's already done the song.
No, he did When We, then he did the remix.
This don't say remix, my nigga. This says verses.
No.
The yodel gotta go though.
He didn't have no earpiece.
What's up? I don't have no ears, y'all.
And then tried to hit a falsetto, which hit me in my eardrum. Ow!
I love the way you fuck me. I love the way you.
Poor Tyrese, his sound was just sounding crazy.
Hey, man, turn my music up, man. Turn my music up. Turn my music up, man.
Between that and Tank and Friends versus.
Does anyone know what Tyrese is doing?
What more do you want from me?
Hey, Tank is the ultimate troll, bruh. Because after Tyrese stormed off the stage, tell Valet to pull up my car. I'm out of here.
No, it wouldn't pull up my car. It would pull up my fucking car.
Tell Valet to pull up my fucking car. I'm out of here.
He was mad.
He gonna cry in the car.
Oh my God.
Back with another episode of Music for Breakfast. This is the most important meal you'll ever hear. I am your host, Octavia March, alongside my music friends.
What's going on? What's happening, friends? It's your girl, Real Roulette.
And you already know we back with another episode. Man, we are Music for Breakfast, a thought-provoking independent media platform intertwined with music to match the vibe of each and every episode. But you already know it's just one thing you got to do when you come up in the building. Let them know, real.
Wash your nasty ass hands and smash up that like button.
Push the goddamn button.
Push the goddamn button.
Do it now.
All right, let's get into it. Phases is out now. They have the audio book out. You can get the regular copy at your local bookstores or wherever you go for books. You know what I'm saying? You can do the Kindle version. You can do all of that. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so the book starts off. She, grew up in Mississippi. Well, she's born in Mississippi, McComb, Mississippi. And she moves to Carson, California, which is a suburb in Los Angeles, California. She goes back to Mississippi sometimes for the summers. Now, I'm not going to go into detail about all of the she talks about her mom and her dad meeting, her grandmother. She talks about She talked about her braids and how she didn't realize how, important they would be later, how symbolic they would be later, or become, um, symbolic to young girls for somebody who looked like them on their TV screens. She didn't realize it then, but she came to appreciate it later on in life. She then goes into we're gonna just go to Carson because Mississippi was a whole thing. They had their fun. They was little kids, but she grows up and becomes Brandy in California. So early on, she talks about being bullied. She's 8 years old. When she is 8, she tells a story about a guy who is a bully and he punches her in the mouth. His name was Montez, and he would bully her on her walks from school. Back in that time, it's a lot of latchkey kids, and she was one of them. Her mom was at work. She worked at H&R Block. She started off as a tax preparer, and then she becomes district manager. And her dad, of course, the whole reason why they moved to California was because her dad got a job as the minister of music. So they're at work all the time. Brandy walks from home, lets herself in, locks the door and all that. Don't answer the door. You know the rules. So Brandy's every time she walks home from school, this boy is just always bullying her, talking about her underdevelopment, and just talking about her all the time. She tries to tell her mom, hey, do I have to go to school today? I'm sick. Trying to pull the sick card. She is trying to avoid this bully ass boy. And one day she finds a shortcut. So she's so happy. She finds a shortcut, and then the boy finds out about her shortcut. He meets her, and she says she remembered this day like it was yesterday when he pulled up on her as she was coming off the fence, and he busts her in the mouth. She says he hits her in the mouth, and he just stares at her. And she was like, what did he expect for me to do? Fight him?
Right.
She ran home, and she ran so fast in her house. Her mom was like, dang, what's going on? Looked at her face and became infuriated. Like, who did this to you? Tell me right now.
No, that's right.
Tell me right
With a
now.
rock and a sock.
Okay. And Brandy, I don't know why, but she didn't tell on him. She didn't say anything. But she goes on to say that after that happened to her, she never saw him again. He ended up getting moved down south somewhere. Disappeared.
Oh, hell no. Montez was a fugitive. The hell with you, Montez.
Hello?
If you still living, if you alive and kicking, Montez. Okay.
Montez was just only one of the bullies, real. Okay, so now we got to get to the bully Shanice when she's in school, because in school she got another bully. Okay, her name is Shanice, and she's a mean girl of the school. The bully of the school. She got her little squad of people or whatever, and she nicknames Brandy E.T. And if you don't know about E.T., you can Google it real quick. It was a movie, and she called her E.T. She was just calling her ugly. She called her Pippi Longstocking. She was just not very nice to Brandy, and she always threatened to beat her ass. Always threatened her, so that kept Brandy scared and living in anxiety. Throughout the summers, Brandy said she would wish that she would pray and hope and wish that this girl would just leave her alone. She wished that God, and she prayed to God that something would happen with her family. Brandy was really nice about it in the book, talking about I wish that her mama would get a good job somewhere else and move away, but just let her leave my life. Get her away from me. And so, at the end of the school year, the girl goes up to Brandy like, you lucky I ain't gonna be back next year. You know what I'm saying? And so Brandy's like, praise the Lord. You ain't got to see you no more. So Brandy has a wonderful summer that year. She comes back to school, and the girl is back in the 4th grade. And so Brandy's like, damn, all the anxiety just rushed back to her. She just like, damn, all the damn pressures of the whole thing is just back on her. And so she has to deal with the whole thing again. She back to praying, Lord Jesus, please just send this lady somewhere. Just get her out of my life. I want her gone out of my life, Lord. That's her prayer as a child. She want this bully gone. So, the
and
summer
I hope
rolls
Jesus
around.
said, heifer, stop calling me and hook off on this heifer.
Well, baby, keep listening. Well, Brandy, she was a bit of a punk, but and that's what the girl said. She called her a punk. Brandy was called a punk throughout her young adult life. Um, so keep listening to the story. So then she comes back from the summer break in the 5th grade, and can you guess what happened to Shanice? You want to take a guess?
Oh, we gonna say either Shanice got her ass whooped or she moved.
Okay, that's a good guess. Actually, what happened? They pulled Brandy and told her that Shanice passed away. She went to Atlanta for the summer, and some folks ran in the house, and Shanice got done up. You know what I'm saying? So, this had the Eve's Bayou effect on Brandy's mind. If you don't know about Eve's Bayou, go Google the movie and then watch the movie. That's a very good movie.
I'm just saying, because in Eve's Bayou, didn't the little girl give the lady some hair from the comb and put it?
She thought she killed her daddy or something like that.
Brandy
thought in her mind that she did something, but she didn't. That didn't have nothing to do with her. That didn't have nothing to do with her.
What was Brandy really praying for?
Listen, then. So the girl passes away. Her half-sister moves in and starts going to Brandy's school. Her name is Cheryl. Brandy feels so bad, she goes up to the little girl and befriends her to kind of ease her conscience. She says, sorry for your loss. Mind you, the girl don't got no friends. She just got to the school. So Brandy's like, well, in my mind, let me go befriend her. So, she says, sorry for your loss. She never tells the girl that she been praying for her sister to go away the whole time. She doesn't mention that. But Cheryl immediately goes, aren't you the girl who everybody pick on? Why do you let everybody pick on you? Are you a punk? Are you a punk or something? And Brandy just sitting back like, what you want me to say, girl? Damn, I'm just trying to survive out here and stay alive. You know what I'm saying? Brandy like, I don't know what you want me to say. So Cheryl is very, she's skinnier than her sister, but she's a fighter. Cheryl is a head buster, and so Brandy befriends her and they become good friends, and Brandy ends up helping her with her homework and grades and things of that nature, and then Cheryl becomes the muscle. Don't nobody mess with Brandy no more after they befriend one another.
That's usually how that work.
Mm-hmm. She becomes her
That's
protector.
usually how that work.
So so they become friends and all that, and then Brandy tells this next story about a bully named LaToya Williams. Now, LaToya Williams stayed around Brandy's, neighborhood. She was around her. She lived right around her. So she tells this story, and at this time, Brandy is on the drill team, and because she likes to dance and do all the things, she's on the drill team, and this girl LaToya Williams is on there as well. Now, LaToya comes from a hostile family, and she weeds Brandy out, and she begins to pick on Brandy. She comes up to her one day and, tries to fight her, poking at her and cussing her out, you ain't yet, you know what I'm saying? She just really going to town on Brandy. Mind you, Brandy's friends are just backed away, staring at the whole thing, not trying to help Brandy. They just watching her. So, and Brandy says, help me. She tells the girls, help me. Somebody, please.
Girl, no.
Y'all don't
fight back. Pinch somebody. Shit.
Brandy, and so nobody was coming to her defense. Nobody was helping Brandy. So the girl LaToya just starts shoving Brandy, just starts pushing her, just shoving her, you know what I'm saying? And just embarrassing her left or right. After a while, the girl just, cusses her out one last good time and then leaves the field. Brandy looking like, now why y'all ain't help me? You know what I'm saying? The girls looking scared. They come back over like, you ready to resume practice? Brandy on the ground like, does it look like I'm ready to resume the practice? Does it look like I'm ready to practice again? And none of y'all came to my defense? Brandy becomes enraged because she's tired of being a punk. She's tired of being the girl who everybody is picking on and bullying and all the things. She's tired of being that girl. So Brandy goes home. She says she doesn't even say nothing to the girl. She just walks home. She just walks home by herself at this point. The girls can just practice on their own. Brandy's gone. So she then goes home and devises a plan because Brandy is over being picked on and bullied, especially in her own neighborhood.
Hello.
So she goes home and devises a plan, and Brandy goes around her house and picks up every extension cord that she can find. She picks up every extension cord that she can find, and she wraps all of them together. And she watches the house that LaToya Williams lives in, and she waits on her moment because parents got to go to work, you know what I'm saying? And kids got to come home to their empty house, you know what I'm saying?
I know that's right.
One day, it was time for Brandy to strike. And she walks on over to the girl's house. She rings the doorbell. And the girl does the number one rule that you do not cross when you are a latchkey kid, and that is open the door. She opened that door, and Brandy goes to town, whipping her ass with them extension cords. And she just starts beating her over and over and over again. And, you know, she probably had an out-of-body experience. I don't know. Because wasn't nobody there to help the girl. She was just beating her ass. And afterwards...
Noah's baby.
Okay. Afterwards, she says, don't you ever put your hands on me again. And she asks the girl, do you hear me? You know her voice, do you hear me? The girl just nodded in fear. Yes.
Whip your ass like your mama won't.
Okay. And from that moment, Brandy did not have to worry about being bullied on that street no more. She ain't had to she wasn't bullied in the neighborhood anymore. So let's give a round of applause for Brandy, you know, getting her get back. Fighting back that one time.
Finally fighting back. Oh my goodness. With the extension cords, Brandy Norwood. I like how you fight. Yes.
So let's fast forward 10 years old. Brandy becomes the assistant director of the youth choir at the church that her dad is the music minister at. And because, you know, she's going there anyway. She's singing in the choir. Her dad felt like it's that time, you know, she be helping her dad. Hey, what you think about this harmony right here? What you think about X, Y, and Z? And he was like, you know what? You know, you should try this out. You know, you should be the assistant director of the youth choir. She was like, really? You think I can do it? He was like, yes, I think you're ready. And when she first got there, people was looking at her strange, like, are you kidding me? Because she was younger than a lot of the people in the youth choir. Mm-hmm. But, you know, they warmed up to her and they sounded great. Brandy did a great job. And she became more confident in her singing and all that. And in the churches where she honed her voice and how to, you know, found her voice, learned how to harmony and all these things like that. She learned in the church. So at 10, she decided to pursue a record deal. She decided, and, you know, the kids around the church always talking about, you know, who got signed and things like that and background singing for certain people. So at that point, she decides, hey, I want to do it too. She wants to do a record deal. So she told her dad one day driving back home in the car that, you know, she's ready to do it. And he said, well, if you're ready, then okay. She's super excited about this. She then presents an idea of participating in a talent competition, and her dad says yes. So she's very, you know, happy about it and excited. And her go-to songs at these talent competitions that she's, you know, competing in, she always sings one or two songs. Can you guess? Would you like to guess?
Something about Whitney Houston.
Absolutely. Okay, I'll take that. Whitney Houston's Greatest Love of All. Or
I was going to say The Children Are Our Future. Okay. I was going to say it.
You know, she from the church. What you expect?
Come on.
And or Mariah's Vision of Love. You know, those were her two go-to songs anytime that she would perform or audition or sing in any competition. Those were her songs. She loved Whitney and Mariah, baby. There was nobody compared. So Brandy ends up doing countless performances and talent shows around the town and the city and things like that. She also around this time, she meets Whitney Houston's musical director, who was at one of the talent shows one time, and he admired her singing. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, I know who you are." And he's very impressed that this little 10-year-old girl knows who he is, but she is a super fan of Whitney Houston. And so she begs him to meet her. She's like, "Hey, you gotta let me meet Whitney. Like, take me with you. Let me. I gotta meet her." And he's like, "Okay, well, the best I can do is get you some tickets. The next time that she's in LA, I'll get you some tickets to the show. That's best I can do." Now, fast forward to the show, baby. Them tickets was terrible. They was worse than the nosebleeds. Okay. They was tickets though, but they was worse than the nosebleeds. I'm like, damn. But Brandy ends up charming her way backstage. She's like, "Listen, I am not here to sit and watch the show. I'm here to meet Whitney Houston." So she charms her way backstage, getting through security left and right. Her mama looking like, damn, I don't know what to do. Let me just follow you. I'm okay, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Apologizing. I'm so sorry. You know what I'm saying? So they get backstage. She doesn't end up meeting Whitney because it's a lot. We all know Whitney was on back then. You know what I'm saying? She was out there. So it wasn't really suitable for kids all the time. But, she missed her chance that time. But, as fate has it, there's more in store for a young Brandy being meeting with Whitney Houston one day. All right, so back on the talent show circuit. She meets a young Tyrese who is actually doing exactly what she's doing. They're all trying to get a deal. They trying to find their way to a record deal some way, somehow. They become friends, and they're still friends to this day. I thought that was very special.
Turtleneck.
Right. Shout out to Tyrese and Tank for that matter. By age 11, Brandy is singing in a competition at the Dockweiler Beach competition. And she says that she sings The Greatest Love of All. And she actually, she doesn't win the competition, but she actually meets Chris Stokes, who is managing Immature at the time. So he's managing Immature at the time, and after the show, he comes up to her and her parents and is like, "Man, your voice is good. I manage Immature. I would love to manage you and help develop you as an artist." And her dad was like, "Okay, all right, we'll try it." They tried it. And so she joined Immature as a backing vocalist for the group. And then she told Chris, "Hey, I got a brother too," you know what I'm saying? And her brother, he was like, "Bring him too," which, I'm gonna just say, yeah. So Ray J got to come along, and it was cool because she was able to put her brother on at that time. So they began to hang out at Chris Stokes' apartment. It became like a cool hangout for the kids and the artists and them cultivating their talent and all the things. And then Brandy starts to realize nothing is really happening for her. So she asks Chris, like, "What's up with my solo career? What we doing?" And he's like, "You know what? I was thinking about that. You're going to be in a group, and you're going to be the lead singer." And she was like, "I don't want to be in a group. I want to," she's like, "if Mariah and Whitney are her idols, they ain't in a group. She wants to be solo." Yeah, she wants to be solo. So he's like, "Nah, groups are the thing. You know what I'm saying? Look at Boys to Men, look at New Edition, look at Immature. You know what I'm saying? You need to be in a group. That's the next thing. You're going to be the answer to Immature. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna do that." Brandy doesn't remember the name of the group. But she tries it out, and Chris ends up landing them an audition at Atlantic Records. The audition didn't go right for the group, but it went right for Brandy. The A&R Daryl Williams actually says, "Hey, I want to hear her sing," talking to Brandy, "step out in front of the girls and let me hear you sing something." Of course, you know what she gonna sing.
Greatest love of all. I know that right.
Whitney Houston. And he's intrigued by her, and he says, "You know what? Come back to me when you're 14. And your voice is more developed, come back," because mind you, she's 11. So he's like, "Come back to me when you're 14 years old." And she hung on to that. Chris is like, well, I got a whole group. I don't want to hear about your damn group. Okay? I said come back at 14, Brandy only. Okay? So.
Rest of y'all run along now.
Right. The girls weren't happy. The group ends up breaking up, and Brandy just continues to sing in the backgrounds for Immature until one day she says, in her words, she mistook familial with safe, as she recalls the time she was hanging out at Chris Stokes' apartment. Immature was playing a video game and she was reading a book. And then she feels a sudden member of Immature, his name was Half Pints, uninvited, unwelcome hands up her shirt. And at that point, in that moment, she froze and she was trying to process everything that was happening. And then she became enraged. She started to cuss him out in all the curse words that she knew at 11. She used all those words at one time.
As she should.
Okay, and pushed him away from her. She then stood up, and everybody's laughing at her. And she's like, don't you ever touch me like that. And, everybody's laughing at her. She gets more infuriated, and she throws her book that she was reading, and it hits Jerome, aka Romeo's eye, cutting his retina, detaching it entirely. And that laughter turned into panic and screams. Okay. Marcus Houston went to go get Chris, and they had to go to the hospital immediately. Again, Brandy is, even back in her Eve Bayou's mind, like, Lord, what did I do? What have I done? Fast forward.
She did what any other girl would have done, because I remember when you and I were talking about this, and so I had remembered that story from Immature's days, and I had seen them online and they had told the story, but they had left that part out. So all these years I had a silent beef with Brandy over blinding Romeo when your little nasty ass deserved it. To hell with your damn retina. Anyway.
Laughing at that girl. See, that's why you just never know the whole story. But, she's telling it now. So, Brandy moves on with her life. She starts drama class and becomes intrigued in acting. This is around the time that Sonia and her husband sat Brandy down, and Brandy's dad asks her, is this what you really want to do with your life? Do you really want to pursue singing? And Brandy was like, yes, more than anything else, I want to do it, And so her dad says, okay, well, your mom is going to quit her job and she's going to help you. She's going to manage you. And so Brandy turns to her mom like, dang, what about your job? I thought you loved that job. She's like, I do, but I love y'all more, and y'all dreams is my dreams, and I'm going to make sure they come true. And so she left H&R Block as district manager, and she became Brandy's manager full time. And now at this point, Brandy is going to high school. 14, she's decided to go to Hollywood High to cultivate all the new things that she wanted to be into, the arts, in all aspects of it, drama, singing, everything. She joins the choir there, all the things. And she is very, she meets Mr. B. Alec, I believe his name is. That became her favorite teacher, who introduced her to a lot of things that was in her elementary. Her middle school. Who told her to go to Hollywood High. So Mr. B. Alec told her to go to Hollywood High so that she could have a chance to make it in show business. So now in high school, she explains that in her mind at this point, the beauty standard is you have to be thin, long hair, and light skin. And she was none of that. And she said going into a high school with that mindset, and kids lusting for a chance at fame was probably not the best idea for her, being so insecure at the time. But she went into it full throttle. And it became better for her. People actually embraced her at this school. She fit in with everybody. So that was great for her because, you know, her track record, she could never find her people. But here, you know, people of the arts, she found her people. And then there was this hating ass guidance counselor. Just to think that you get away from the bullies. This guidance counselor who would put children on to auditions and help them get signed and things like that, told Brandy that she was not pretty enough for Hollywood, which was very hurting, which hurt Brandy, and she recalls that she would always remember that. So that's kind of tough at being your guidance counselor. So she never sent her out on any auditions, but praise the Lord for Sonya Norwood, because
Oh my
Sonya was out there
god.
working. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's horrible. So they never sent her out on one?
And there was one audition that Brandy really wanted to do, but that's when the lady told her, like, you know, what Brandy was like, why am I getting passed up? And the lady told her, because you ain't pretty enough. You're not
Oh my
drop dead
god.
gorgeous. Terrible.
Shout out to Westry Rain for the $9.99 super chat. We appreciate you, player.
Oh, Westry Wayne, we appreciate you.
We appreciate you, player.
Yes, we appreciate you. So the guidance counselor told her, you ain't pretty enough, but thank God for her mama, who was working on her behalf hard at work, and she did not let her baby down. Her mom got with an agent, and they got her the booking for Denisha Terrell as on Thea. So this is her first sitcom or whatever. Brandy gets her first gig, on Thea. Now, Brandy, you know, she's a growing girl. She's 14 at this time. She's on her first set, and she's just trying to do a good job. Brandy starts her menstrual cycle during one of the live shows. They weren't taping just yet, but they were, in the, working on set. And she says that a lot of the women rallied around her, including Yvette Wilson, who was also Andale on the Parkers. She was one of the women who rallied around her and comforted her and told her, this is your power. Hold your head up. Rallying around her, give her some encouragement. Meanwhile, Thea embarrassed her and, made a joke in front of everybody and just straight embarrassed Brandy and all the things. And at that moment, Brandy realized that Thea hated her. So, yeah.
Damn.
So then Brandy then goes back to a time. So then Brandy goes back in the book before she booked the show. She had gotten the deal with Atlantic Records, because remember that man told her, come back when you're 14.
Come back when you're 14.
And mind you, her mother's her manager now. So her mama getting things going, baby. Her mama ain't playing. So she ends up getting her record deal with Atlantic Records. This was before Thea. So she made that brief pause to go back and let that be known. So back to the TV show. So she has her record deal, working on her first album, her debut album, Brandy, and she is doing the Thea TV show. Thea lashes out at Brandy because Brandy can't get her lines right, cussing at her and things. Brandy gets so distraught. She ends up telling her mom one day in the car. She's like, she just hates me. Her mom just like, okay, just taking note. I got you. The next
Sonya
day,
Norwood, baby.
Okay, the next day, instead of her mom dropping her off, her mama goes with her to the set. Takes a metal chair, sits it next to the director. Is like, I'm gonna just sit right here. Okay.
Cause who don't like my daughter?
Eyes locked on Thea. Like, what's happening? What you want to do? And Thea looked like, okay, all right, She said,
I love me a black mama.
Okay. Thea says that the season not Thea. Brandy said that Thea lasted one season and then she got a new opportunity to do Moesha. So shout out to that. You know, she making big moves. Brandy is going up. So now Brandy is 14. She's 14 with a record deal and she's recording her debut album. Her dad is with her at every session, helping her, get her voice together and helping her grow her voice and all the things that she needs, for the track or whatever. At this point, she meets Robin Thicke, who is a songwriter. So to prepare for her album, they bring in different songwriters and things like that to help, get you a good album. Robin Thicke was one of those people they called. And she said he was really nice, and he ended up writing for the album. He wrote Love Is On My Side on the Brandy debut album. And reading this book, I would imagine her streams will go up because
definitely.
you're going to want to go back to listen to certain songs. Like, okay, Robin Thicke wrote that song. Let me go back and listen to that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good for that. So a producer named Keith Crouch. Woo, buddy. This man is not to be played with, baby. He came in with the bangers for Brandy. Before we get into Keith Crouch, I don't want to ignore the chat if anybody's saying anything.
Yeah, let's just check in with the chat real quick. We got Westry Wayne is said, well, hold on, we're gonna back it up to brother Denzi, where he says, you never know what people been through, famous or not. Exactly, bro. Exactly. Westry Wayne says ET is hilarious. How long? No, it ain't. This all before Moesha. Yes, Habibi, this is all before Moesha. Well, previously we're about to get into the Moesha phase. Damn. T Harris says, damn, Brandy. I ain't mad at her though, fighting back eventually. Child, I'm just glad she got them extension cords and got it popping. Hello. Yeah. Denzi said Jerome is my middle name. Wait, hold on. Let me see. Denzi
Jerome
is
real name.
my real name. Denzi's my okay. Jerome in the house.
Watch me.
Watch your mouth. Dread Passion. The only things Brandy went through. Wait, hold on. The things Brandy went through may explain why she said it'd be difficult to work with in that day. Rest in power, Yvette Wilson. Yes. And then My Bath Bakery. Welcome, sis. Got my popcorn child. Welcome.
What's up, My Bath
You
Bakery?
came in time. You came in time. And we appreciate the $4.99 super chat, friend.
Bath Bakery. Oh my gosh.
You.
Always coming in the building.
Always coming in.
Appreciate you so much.
Girl, you done came in the right time too, because I'm telling you, child, this Brandy tea is piping hot and it just hits you in the back of the throat. And just hold on to your clutch your pearls, clutch your wig. Just hold it all together. Lord have mercy.
Yes, it's a lot. And and we ain't even got in yet. Got in real good.
No. You ain't got to the tea yet. Well, the little part about Romeo getting, blacked in the eye, fuck your retina too. I don't care. But yeah, that was a little bit of tea in case y'all didn't know that for the 90s kids in the chat. If y'all didn't know that. But yeah, we about to get into the rest of this here tea because whew.
It's going crazy. Okay, so we're into the Brandy album. She's 14 years old, working on her debut album, Brandy. She is signed to Atlantic Records. Sylvia Rome is at the helm of this. I love Sylvia Rome. She done signed Missy Elliott. She done signed so many great people. And Brandy is one of them. So Keith Crouch comes in and he brings his keyboard, baby, and he asks Brandy, so what do you want to sing about, baby? And I love me an attentive producer who like Jimmy Jam Taylor. Like Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis had Janet. Let's just spend some time. And she's like, okay, we're going to start working, baby. We've been working. We're just getting to know you,
Hello.
I love that. So he asks Brandy, what you want to sing about? So she starts telling him about, boy crushes and things like that. and the crushes that she has in her heart and things like that. And he writes, I want to be down. I would like to get to know if I could be the kind of girl that you could be down for. Because when I look at you, I feel something tells me that you're the kind of guy that I should make a move on. I ain't gonna go into the whole thing. But I thought that was so cute. Because, you know, a lot of the times in that era, you had kids singing about grown adult things. I don't
Yes.
have much money. I can't buy a diamond ring. Usher singing, you know, can you get with it? It's
Call me a
like that. It's
Mac.
only a sexual thing. And he's a kid singing that. You had so many
Call me a
kids.
Mac
Age
at
ain't nothing
13
but
is
a
crazy.
number. You know, it's just so disturbing. All the kids singing about grown up stuff. But, you know, this is about, I Want to
Yeah.
Be Down is about a crush. I thought that was so cute. And I just love that Keith Crouch kept it PG, you know? So he does I Want to Be Down. Not only that, the remix, baby, we love that. About yay short, about yay tall, about so, you know what?
Oh,
Shout out to
so
Queen Latifah.
small.
Everybody.
Come on,
Everybody.
Queen
MC
Latifah.
Light. Not only that,
Pancake
he
by the
does
bay.
baby, 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 baby.
Oh my
Don't you
God.
know that
Don't
you're
you
so
know
fine?
that
Come on now. Y'all better go back and get into them
I'm
songs, baby.
You better
He
get in
does.
with the choreography.
Yes, he does Baby. He does Best Friend, a song dedicated in dedication to her brother. You know, Ray J. They are best friends. She
Oh,
loves her brother. They have that bond. She
that video was
dedicates
so
that song
cute.
to him. He helped write that, you know, and then he writes other songs on the track, on the album, but just some of the hits, you know, Broken Hearted. He writes Broken Hearted, baby. What a
If y'all
beautiful
have never
song.
heard Broken Hearted by Brandy and Wanya Morris,
We're going to get into
cause
that.
I'm lonely.
Yes.
Oh my, oh.
So this is all at 14. Now, you know, her birthday's in February. She turns 15. The album is done. She's shooting her video, I Want to Be Down. And she's about to come to the world as Brandy the brand. You know, she's about to launch her career into the world through Atlantic Records. She has this album, Moesha's about to be banging. She don't even know it yet. You know what I'm saying? She's about to just take off, 15 years old. You know, she's a child. We now move into the broken-hearted chapter. Okay, now this is where the scandal child. Shout out to Ashley Says So's channel on YouTube. She's always talking about old Hollywood stories. If you want to check out drama like that, she got it.
Yes.
But she's always talking about the scandal child, the scandal.
Scandal.
So
Hold on to your wigs, clutch your pearls.
yeah,
We
before
about
we
to
get
take
into
a
that, we
ride.
want to read a little bit from the chat before we get into the
Yes,
Wanya
let's get it.
Bush.
Let's get into it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to My Bath Bakery says, shout out to Dizzy talking about I almost got signed by Sylvia Roan. Okay,
Wow. Okay.
okay, player. Shout out to Brother Denzi one time.
Sylvia
My
signs
Bath
Troop
Bakery.
too. Nice. The very
Oh, she
first
signed Troop
time.
too.
Yes.
Okay. Habibi said I was just singing that. I Want to Be Down by Brandy Barbie. Dread Pastor says, which producer is this? I had a glitch.
The
This
producer is
was
Keith Crouch.
Keith Crouch. Black Healer 5484. Wanye almost ruined Broken Hearted, but I wouldn't let the man do it to me. Childhood. Habibi, Moesha was everything and was Motada. Eatada. Brother Denzi said Wanna Be Down remix video was inspired by Craig Mack Flavor in Your Ear remix. I did not know that. That is fire. And then last but not
Bakery,
least,
I love you. You
yeah,
be coming with it.
girl, but I
Between
need
you
you to
and
get your
Rail,
strap. I need you to get
baby.
your strap. Is it strap? I need the chin strap. We need the chin strap, baby. Okay, go ahead, Octavia. Go ahead,
All
take it
right.
away.
So, Broken Hearted chapter is about Wanye. All right. So, well, it has to do with Wanye. So Brandy moves on to the brokenhearted chapter. Brandy talks about her boyfriend. She starts it off talking about her boyfriend Anthony, who is, a kid that she, I guess, went to school with. He was
A
very
key.
supportive in her career. She then goes into her mom waking her up one day to say, Wanya's on the phone. Out the blue, Wanya's on the phone. Brandy is half asleep, so she's like, "Huh? What? Wanya on the phone?" She's like, "What?" And so Wanya is on the phone. He congratulates her on the success of "I Want to Be Down," and he made a joke about her knocking the group off of the charts, because their group was charting. Boys to Men was charting. They knocked it down. "I Want to Be Down" knocked it off, and he wants to meet her. And she's fangirling out about this, and her mom is excited for her because Boys to Men is one of her favorite bands or whatever. So he's like, "I want to meet you." So Brandy goes to a family friend's house that she hangs out at all the time, and Wanya pulls up to the family friend's house, and they all hang out, like close friends. She said it was kind of like, the kids hanging out with the cool senior, or something like that, she said. But he came over there, he hung out. At this point, Brandy's fame is growing because she's has the number one song right now. So she's growing in fame, and it started to hinder her day-to-day life in her relationships. The things that she could usually do, she really can't do it anymore, especially with her boyfriend Anthony. And she also reveals that her and Anthony was I'm sorry, I just got a notification. Thought YouTube was hating for a second, but they not. She reveals that her and Anthony decided that they were going to lose their virginity together and experience that together. But he ended up losing his virginity to somebody else, which was upsetting to Brandy. But she said she didn't really have time to sit and be broken up about that because her life was moving so fast. She had a schedule, baby. She has to promote the record and get ready to promote the album and things of that nature. So she kept it moving. But that was a blow to her, knowing that he gave his virginity away. She then goes into her final hours of being 15. She's at the Hard Rock Cafe in Phoenix, Arizona for All-Star Weekend, and she's performing alongside of a bunch of people. Mary J. Blige, Boyz II Men, a whole bunch of people on this ticket. All-Star Weekend goes up. She's a part of the lineup. She's about to be 16, and her parents set up a surprise for her. So they take her, like, come to the front. They pull her up to the front. She's like, "What's going on?" To her surprise, the whole Boyz II Men is there. Like, she's never met the group. She's only met Wanya because Wanya talked to her on the phone. He hung out with her before, but she's never met the whole group. So the whole group is there. They serenade her, sing happy birthday, all the things. And then after that, Wanya calls her again and offers her an opportunity to open up for Boyz II Men on tour. And so she is super excited. She's like, "Oh my gosh, yes, like all these blessings just raining down on me." What I'm saying? She just feeling it. So she said before the tour even began, Wanya was calling her on a regular basis at this time. He was gradually becoming her anchor as she navigated this newfound industry. How the music industry could be, So he's calling her and, and just talking to her on a regular basis. And on her first show, Wanya shows up with white roses and some encouraging words for Brandy. Okay. Then he proposes the idea of doing the duet to Broken Hearted. He's like, how about I jump on that song, So she's like, "Oh my gosh, really?" So they get a break from tour. They go to Philadelphia and they record Broken Hearted. And the remix sounds amazing. We love it. We love to hear it. This time, at this point, during this session in the studio, her feelings start to change for Wanya. She starts to feel things that she ain't never felt before for this man. You know, all these things that he's just setting up for her, you know, at the and not to mention he helped write the Moesha song, Let Him Tell It. Him and his mama wrote the theme song for Mo to the E to the, you know, he helped write that. So he's just doing all these things for her. And you know, she's saying she finds herself having these feelings for Wanya, and she explains what was once admiration has formed into something else for him. She said that it seems to her that he weaponized her admiration at this point and shaped her friendship into dependence and her respect into desire. Okay, so go ahead. I'm sorry.
Grooming.
Okay.
Grooming. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, you can say that. Okay. As we know today, she says that she felt swept up in a current that she could not control. Those emotions was just in her body, in her 16-year-old body, you know.
But you have to also understand he's coaching it, because you done brought her the white roses and like Dread
They might have on
Passion,
tour doing all these
girl.
things, you
But
know.
like Dread Passion said, you got that old Wanya big grown shaky throat singing behind all in your face, getting your roses and making you in your 16-year-old mind. And think about it, when you 16, you just everybody love you, child. You in love with everybody. So you don't know how to really perceive it. So he's just really playing it up. So I don't like it here. It feels creepy.
Did you want to get some more of the chat before I get into the rest of this cringe story?
Yeah, cause chat this well. I hope y'all got your wig glue on. I hope you got your wig glue on. I hope you're sitting down and you're strapped into your seats, because this West gonna get fucked up. Yes, T Harris, get your wig glue, tape, and bobby pins, please. Yes, we're gonna go. Wanya is everything I thought he was based on the cringy Breakfast Club interview. Yuck, child. We gonna get into that.
We're gonna get into that.
Gen Z, Wanya kids don't even rock with him, period. They blocked him on social media, allegedly. We gonna sponsor that by allegedly at .com. And then we got Dread Passion saying to Black Healer, he has been cringy to me since before the interview, child. Look, since the song Broken Hearted, he's been a little cringe to me too. And My Bath Bakery got to be glue hunty. Child, at this point, I feel like we need Gorilla Glue. Octavia.
So at this point, they're filming. She says shortly after they recorded it, they did the video. And at the video shoot, baby, she says the energy between them is intensified, baby. They want to do it, okay? They ready to do it. Both of them. She says that he's saying to her, "My girlfriend is 16." She doesn't recall when he says this, but she recalls him saying it whenever they're alone. My girlfriend is 16. She said regardless, she was under the impression, regardless if she was 16 or not, she was under the impression that they were madly in love, or what she thought love to be at 16 years old. I'm sorry.
But Octavia, real quick.
Go ahead.
Can we just let the chat know how old Mr. I'm not old, but I was young? Can we let
21.
them know how
He's
old he
21
was?
at this point. They're 6 years apart.
And how old was Brandy? How old was Brandy?
She was 16. He was 21. He said, and he has plenty of experience, because at this point he is. When did Boyz II Men get in the game? 92, I believe. So he's had experience already, you know, in the industry. He knows what he's doing. He's 21, she's 16, and she is green, baby. Okay. She says she knew what was happening between them was wrong at the time, but she felt that it was special and people just couldn't understand it. Sounds like Lashana Landfair in the R. Kelly book.
a typical 16-year-old. You
mindset.
think,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just that child shit. I was a 16-year-old in love with a 24-year-old, and I just anything you just want to be all up in their face. But
I was the
the
kid loving
24,
genuine. You know.
but it's like you gotta, as the 22-year-old, 21-year-old, like you gotta know that like that is not, that's nasty. Like
It gets worse. It gets worse. Keep listening. So she says that she was young and inexperienced, and she thought that following her heart was following his lead. That says a lot. She thought that following her heart was following his lead, that they share.
Most girls do.
Yeah. That what they shared, was beyond limitations. She says that they wanted to wait. She said that she told him that she wanted to wait to give her virginity up in marriage. She told him that she wanted to wait to marriage. But she also felt that having sex with him would cement their bond and would prove
Their love.
that she was mature enough for the relationship. It's a lot of pressure. And I understand what she's saying there. So she told herself that she was ready. She told herself she was ready, even though she wasn't really ready. And that that it was her choice. She told this to herself, that it was her choice. But in truth, she felt like she had no choice, and that she felt like saying no meant losing him. So if she denied it, he would be gone to the next. I mean, he is a superstar at this point. Her first time, she says, lacked the specialness. So losing her virginity lacked the specialness to her. And she painted in her mind, because it wasn't about her. It was all about him. So she didn't have a great time doing it. She says that looking back on it, it was about him getting what he wanted from a girl too young to recognize that she was being used.
It's usually how that goes.
Yeah. She says that she was too naive to realize that deep down inside, he did not see her as special. She thinks that he saw her as conquerable, as someone whose boundaries could be negotiated away.
That's just so disgusting.
And
then it's
sad.
like, you see him on the Breakfast Club interview, and it's just like,
we're gonna get into the Breakfast interview. We're gonna get into that because she mentions that in the book. And then at this point, as kids do, she begins lying to her parents. She's sneaking around because she's underage. She got to sneak with this man. She's lying and sneaking around, and her parents end up figuring it out. And they confront her about it, and they in the living room, and they say, what's going on with you and Wanya? Point blank. Brandy says, it's nothing, it's just music, it's just friendship, it's nothing. And
your mama know.
Damper that don't hold too well with the family. Her mom actually approached her, one afternoon and asked her straight up, are you willing to sacrifice your dream for Wanya? She said, and listen what she said. She said, Mom, I love him. Her mama sucked her teeth and said, girl,
don't make me punch you in the face.
You said what?
Don't make me punch you in the face.
No, she said, girl, you are not in love. You don't even know what love is. But you don't see it for yourself.
At all. Yes.
You don't see this for yourself.
Yes.
Then she says that, so she's in this relationship. She's finally about to turn 18. So she feels like there's no more hiding now. We can be out in the open. She turns 18 and she's like, okay, it's going to be, she convinces herself things are going to be different, but they're not. Wanya starts to pick her apart at this point. So she describes one day, one evening they're in his apartment and she's eating Chinese food or something and they're listening to the radio, and Faith Evans, soon as I get home, is on the radio, and he's like, you hear that? And she's like, hear what? He's like, did you hear this harmony or run or whatever? Why you need to do that? Why can't you do that? You know, and he started to put her against different artists and things like that, from different people on the radio and things like that. So, you know, playing on her insecurities. You know, Brandy's already fragile. We already know what she's coming through. We already know, she said that she's talked with him. He knows her insecurities, and now he's just playing on her top at this point. And she's 18 years old. Then she says she could never contact him directly. She had to page him first. At first, she thought it was to keep the relationship a secret, and so she was cool with it. But you know, after she turned 18, she's like, "Well, I still gotta page you to contact you directly." But she says it was to keep her on a leash, on a digital leash, tethered to her schedule. Then she sees him one day in a car with his assistant, and he's rubbing his hands down her hair, and Brandy confronts him about this, like, you know, what you doing? Are you with her? Have you been with her? You know, he then confesses that he has been with a lot of women, but not the girl you talking about. And, you know, that's a gut punch to Brandy. So she says,
like,
go ahead.
Wanya, sir, you cute, but like, and like, Octavia, I know the look you gonna give me for saying this, but like, you cute, sir, but you not that cute that like you could play with me like that. So anyway, go ahead. I'm just, the audacity must have been on a liquidation sale back then too, because damn.
Yeah.
Mm.
We'll read some of these chats before we get back into it.
Yeah, shout out to Denzi sending a 575 super chat.
Hey, Dizzy, we appreciate you.
Yes.
Yes.
Shout out to T Harris. She says, Octavia, I agree with your comment. I was a teen in love with Genuine as well. He was so damn fine in the 90s and was baby hairs. Oh my
Tell me, do you wanna go home? The music is jumping.
Hey.
Sorry. I love Music Junior. I was too young for that.
Wanya, T Harris also said Wanya looks cringy as F now. And dude, because right now we gonna get into it, but it's just he looked like us and sound like a dirty old man. I just no. These, I'm telling you, all these celebrities from back in the 90s, child, some of them coming back sounding real
predatory,
real predatory. Yes, get them off the streets.
Yeah, so at 16, so this is Brandy reflecting as a grown woman now. She's at 16 years old dealing with infidelity of a grown-ass man who she believed had pursued her. Because, you know, he was whining and dining her, doing all these things for her. So she believed he pursued her, took her innocence, and was now revealing he had been unfaithful to her. She says she was young, but she was wise enough to know that she has been played, and she didn't like that. She says for years she struggled with this in her life, throughout her life, in this relationship. How he saw a 15-year-old girl with rising fame and admiration for his talent, her as his fan, and she believed he deliberately took advantage of that, and he did. This is a 22-year-old man at this time who knew exactly what he was doing when he pursued that underage girl. She says, looking back, it seemed like he chose his moment carefully, reaching out to her when she was a young girl, newly successful and vulnerable to attention, and someone she idolized at that time. She says the shame she carried of that relationship ends right here in this book. She says she has grown more resentful at the whole ordeal about it and how he has carried himself in the media today. Like he was a misunderstood romantic lead rather than an adult man that he was. His refusal to acknowledge of what she believed he did, which was take advantage of her and abuse his power. She feels that like it's a form of abuse to this day and how he's handling it. She then watches the interviews in which he talks about the relationship, and we'll get into that now.
Wanya was banging Brandy.
Brandy.
He left her lonely, brokenhearted.
No, I didn't actually leave her.
He was teaching Ray J how to do videos.
You told Ray J how to do the segment.
That's why they called you Squirt.
That's what I was thinking.
That's why you like Squirt. I like Squirt.
I mean, Brandy even said to her behind the music that you broke her heart because you fell in love with somebody else.
I mean, you only fall in love with somebody. You only fall out of love with somebody else if somebody makes you fall out of love. You know, so if that was the situation, if that's what she said, then
that's political. I like that.
I can't contest to her view about it. I can just only live by my view.
Revolt.
They were saying she was really young when y'all dated.
Yeah, she was. Not that young. Not
God,
not
jailbait.
No, that's what I'm saying. But you know that's why. But that's why. That's why I stopped it.
The questions
Hold on. But that's why I stopped it and said that she wasn't that young because I don't want y'all to think Boys to Men was young. No.
She said
I was young too.
She said she was 15 and she had to keep it a secret because she was so young.
See, we did the thing. We did the thing where she was like 16, 17 around that time. You know.
So you were still a boy too.
I wasn't old. I wasn't
men
like
yet.
38 years old, nothing like that. I was old enough to. She was old enough to get it.
Okay. But was it legal in the state y'all was in?
I mean, we was always in different states. We was on tour.
They had a nomad relationship.
You know what I'm saying? We just, we didn't do it in the states that it was legal. It was illegal in.
Nice.
Gotcha.
Just disgusting. And them to be cackling about it.
And like, dissect the entire thing. Charlemagne, don't you have a weird case? You cackling very loud for somebody with a weird case of their own. All right. And then the rest, just to hear the rest of Boys to Men defend him and like, oh, well, she wasn't young. And you know what? I wasn't old. You know, I was young too. I was a boy too. Sir, you were 21 years fucking old. The legal age is 8 fucking teen. Hello.
Come on.
Are y'all cool? Are y'all cool?
No, they're not cool.
And then you talk, and then just for hearing him say, like, you know, she was old enough to get it. I mean, you know, we didn't do the thing until, first of all, you are like the fourth man in a 3-week time frame to reminisce and hug with other men over the sexual orifices of Miss Brandy Norwood from the 90s. I mean, have y'all not gotten no new poontang in the year of our Lord 2026? I'm trying to understand why are all these damn near senior citizen men coming together, hugging, reminiscing over Brandy Norwood. Either it was that good or y'all ain't had none since the 90s. I don't know which is scarier. I don't know which is more scandalous, child.
As you're referring to Mason Shine.
I'm referring to Mason Shine and Cameron sitting there a kiki about Brandy at their big ages. And then now here you have Wanya, Nate, and Sean, a kiki, with Charlemagne the God with his own weird ass R case. Look it up. All kikiing about whether he did or did not have sex with a underage. 16 is underage, 17 is underage, especially when you yourself are 21. The fact that this man is still on tour and was able to complete that interview, a kiki the whole damn time. Where's the FBI?
Is still in high school at this point. Like, I mean, come on.
Like, but you saying she wasn't young. She wasn't young. She was 16, 17. She was 16, 17.
She wasn't 17, sir. She
is
was
still a
16.
minor. She's still a minor. 15, 16, 17. You still you're not 18. Okay? She was never 18. She was old enough to get it. No, old enough to get it is 18. 17 is still considered a child.
Right.
So I don't know
grader.
how and hello. And it's just like, bro, I just like, where was is PR not a thing anymore? Like, where was the Breakfast Club PR? Where was the Boys to Men PR?
I don't think they were prepared for that question. Angela, you asked that question. You know, that's a super old interview. So, because, you know, she's
yeah. She
definitely
ain't even
not
with
there
them
no
no
more.
more.
But I want to get into some of these reactions that I found from this Wanya Brandy situation.
This is a woman who is telling y'all that a man groomed her and took advantage of her as a teenager.
And you know what I have to say to that? We've come to the end of your freedom, bitch. Lock him up.
And yes, she was the victim, because any child who is in any sort of inappropriate relationship with an adult is always the victim. There's a reason there's an age of consent and that adults are not able to date children.
Gen Xers and baby boomers act like they were grandfathered in before the Me Too movement. That's why I feel like when they used to date teens, they felt it was normal. I don't care if she okayed it. Like, you're the adult in this situation. You know it's wrong.
So Wanya Morris and all the Boys to Men were just sitting around cackling while talking about statutory rape of Brandy. Talking about they were in love and then they fell out of love. What does a 16-year-old know about love with a grown-ass man? Nothing. I can answer that for you. He said that she was old enough to get it. And they all start cackling.
She was old enough to get it? At 16? Boys to Men. Sounds like Boys to Predators to me.
Ephebia is the preference of an adult from mid to late adolescence, specifically those who have reached or near physical maturity, but below the legal age of adulthood. Often, the adolescents are age 15 or 16, but in some cases, they might be slightly older. Ephebia is a complex and controversial subject. It really ain't that controversial to me, you know what I'm saying? You like them little girls. Listen, it raises questions about the age of consent, social ethics, legal consequences, and how a lot of y'all is lost in the sauce of the same hubris that Jeffrey Epstein was doing, flying people around the states and hoping that you can discursively get around the law. Brandy described him as a music mentor who weaponized her admiration and says they first gay type of encounter involved him getting what he wanted from somebody that was too young to recognize and that she was being used. For those in the back, informed consent is an agreement that is freely given by someone with the maturity, knowledge, and autonomy to understand that they are agreeing to and the consequences. A 16-year-old navigating fame under the guidance of a 22-year-old mentor is by definition operated with a limited capacity of informed consent. By definition, and you know I gave you the word for that. In a 2021 live stream, Wanya maintained they did not begin dating until she was of legal age, claiming her parents were a part of their relationship and allowed him to guide Brandy. Yeah. The definition for grooming is a deliberate process where an older or more powerful person builds trust, emotional dependency, and secrecy with the younger or less powerful person to exploit them, often sexually. It frequently involves mentorship, gifting, giving flattery, assuming a protective role before giving boundaries, and guess what? Even being a protege mentor. Remember, everybody in the studio laughing, including all the members of Boys to Men, or at least all three of them that was on there. Peep how he go from describing his relationship to Brandy as a friend, protege, saying her parents allowed me to guide Brandy and help her through the career. How does framing the adult minor sexual relationship as guidance function as a grooming tactic? When Wanya joked and said he didn't do it in the states it was illegal in, it revealed how somebody treats the statutory age of consent as legal loopholes rather than boundaries to protect children. And now we're talking about the Epstein files. In 2021, Wanya publicly said, there is no lie going on here. You could ask Brandy, she would tell you the same story. Now Brandy has told her story and it directly contradicts his.
A child's brain is not developed enough to know better. 15 is a child, by the way. But Wanya knew. He was a grown-ass man. He knew exactly what he was doing. And I want to be very transparent here because I was that 15-year-old girl and he was 24. This man was a member of the church telling me I was special, wanting to take me home, calling songs our song. And to be honest with y'all, I was smitten. Yeah, at 15, I was smitten. Because at 15, you're still trying to figure it out. You're developing and growing through puberty. You're still figuring your body out, your confidence, your worth. So when a grown man chooses you, it feels like validation. But I can say now that was grooming. That wasn't love. That wasn't maturity. And it wasn't my fault. But I didn't have the language or the vocabulary for it at 15. And I had loving parents. I had a dad that would have beat his ass. Yeah, my mama would have beat his ass too. This guy was sneaky. And the only reason that relationship didn't go any further was because he got in a car accident. I don't know where it would have gone had he still been here. Black girls deserve to be girls. All girls deserve to be girls. They deserve to be girls and develop as girls, not as targets, not being blamed, and not being silenced. And if your first instinct is to question and blame the child instead of these grown ass men, then you've lost the plot. And you the problem.
Because the people that dealt with that early on in their life, like if you was a teen or, a middle school girl or something like that, and some stuff happened to you when you were younger, that affected you it does affect you up until you get into adulthood. It stays with you. Especially heartbreaks from imbalances in relationships are so severe because the situation is already a power imbalance. It's already off kilter. It's already fucked up. There's already somebody that's enforcing on you sometimes before you're even ready. And because you like them and you're younger and you don't know any better, you're going to, fall for it. You're a kid. The way people look to make okay that was not okay back then and it's not okay now. I know we had a different attitude towards it. You can say that, but that is irrelevant. That's actually a part of the problem that y'all didn't think anything was wrong with it then. We're going to say that something is wrong with it now. We're going to hold people accountable now. It doesn't matter that it was 20 years ago. And we can't even really hold him accountable the way he should have went to jail for that. To be clear, he should have went to jail for that.
And for reference, this is the 16-year-old that Wanya Morris from Boys to Men said was old enough to get it.
Man, I have been sitting here waiting for her since I got here. I'm like, where's Whitney? Where's Whitney?
A 16-year-old Brandy barely able to contain herself.
I just hope she's nice to me and she likes me.
Knowing she'd soon share the stage at the 1995 Kids' Choice Awards with her hero, Whitney Houston.
Because sometimes people need to be reminded of what a 16-year-old actually looks like. And for reference, this is Wanya at 22 or thereabouts. Do you see how they laughed? How they all chuckled? Mind you, this is after old boy made the point to make the distinction that she wasn't that young. We weren't messing with jail bait now. But you were. But you were. And you're laughing about it. And never forget, folks, this face, this baby, is who that man said was old enough to get it, though. This little ass baby was old enough to get it from that 22-year-old ass, grown ass man.
Disgusting.
Atrocious.
Disturbing.
Because I remember that interview. She was so excited and giddy to meet Whitney. And it's just like, that's the same little girl that you talking about was old enough to get it. And to think again, like one of the ladies said in the video, when you're a child, I was 16 with a crush on a damn 24-year-old, I didn't know, you know what I mean? But yeah. You have to talk a certain way or you have to behave a certain way for that to gain that person's attention. So I just see Brandy doing the same things. Well, he's giving me gifts, he's showering me with these things, and I don't really understand it, but he's from my favorite group and I like the attention. So hey, what the hell? Why not? Oh, well, he's gonna reserve his attention or take it away from me if I don't open up to him in this manner. So I guess, you know what I mean? And now as a grown woman, you finally think of it. You need to call it what it is. And it's like, I don't know why. We talk about a lot of these YNs telling on themselves in interviews and stuff. It's like a lot of these OGs. Y'all take the mics out your face. Get off these podcasts because y'all just
get
are
on them because they need to be exposed. I like to know the truth.
Because
Thank you,
but it's like,
how did you?
Well, yeah, and you clearly at the end of the road, but why didn't we know this before the tour? Because, you sat here and, people ran their dollars to you for this tour, but I didn't know that he, had glorified this, and sat back there cackling with other people that have weird cases.
Well, we never heard Brandy's part of the story. And she said that she kept it under wraps because she
to protect
out of respect for his family and her daughter and things like that. She never wanted to put it out there. She only said something because she didn't like how the narrative that he was trying to paint.
And rightfully so.
But
my
I hate that it had to come to that.
It had to come to why did we even go there in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
Why did we even go there in the first place? Like the other interview, you know what I'm saying? How did we zero in that neighborhood? Why did we end up there? Why was that a topic of conversation? It's just very strange to me. It's just, okay, she has this book coming out. Is that why y'all decided to go down memory lane? I just don't get it. And it's just...
What do you mean?
Well, okay, no, because that was an old interview.
Yeah.
But like the Breakfast Club, it's just like, why
the
did y'all
internet is gonna
land?
internet. They gonna pull up the old. They
Yeah.
gonna pull up the receipts. So when Brandy
Yeah.
dropped this tea, like I think that she had been working on the book, and she probably like she was upset at the narrative that he was painting. So she was like, "Well, I'm finna tell the real truth now. I'm just going ahead and bury it."
Period.
Just like the
Because
Romeo,
y'all not gonna keep playing with
situation.
me.
Just like the Romeo
Yeah.
narrative, he just said Brandy threw a book and hit my eye. He didn't give no context. She's putting context to it. She's like, no, this is what really happened. So,
Period.
She's telling her truth now. I'm glad it came out, but I don't like that it took so long. But everybody on their own time. Everybody on their own time.
Everybody's got their time. But it's just like, sir, you had to have known that clickbait and everything else was going to come around and whip your ass, because why would you even say this in a damn interview? Like, again, is PR not a thing? Even back then, just from you with your grown ass mouth.
He has that type of privilege, he has that audacity that he can stand up, and say, hey, she was old enough to get it. What are you gonna do? And I'm still gonna promote my things, and you're gonna come out and support me. I'm a man. It's sick, but that's the harsh reality. And I'm glad that she's taking her power back and putting the truth out there. Yeah. And she's doing it in the way that she knows how, because a lot of this, she gives a lot of she paints the picture throughout this book. Like, she just doesn't say it straightforward. And I kind of wish that she would say something straightforward, but she kind of like paints it and kind of like lets you know how she felt and things like that throughout the book. So however you have to get it out, I'm glad that she's found the strength to get it out and not letting him just continue to sit on this narrative and make her look like a fast young girl or whatever people may think that she looks like.
Damn.
But we could get into some of these comments real quick.
Let's go. Brother Denzi, he says, well, actually, we're gonna go back to Dread Passion. She says, this was crazy. Brother Denzi says, why would Charlemagne the God say banging Brandy? That's not cool at all. Then they're all laughing. And why would Wanya broadcast something that's supposed to be private? That's what I'm saying. It's just very cringe, very creepy.
It's the audacity.
Fredro, and it's just why? But Fredro Star is the one. Is the only dude that checked Charlemagne the God for bringing up Brandy regarding having sex with him.
But Fredro Star was
also being
words
salacious
about Brandy and said some things that were out of line about her too. And I don't want to repeat it, but you can Google it or whatever. It was just disgusting.
Yeah. T. Harris says, talking about being a boy at 21 and old enough to get it, like, sir, ridiculous and nasty AF, mad cringy. Exactly. And it's just putting that generation, just the way that they talk, it's just putting y'all on the Summer Jam screen and just, y'all ain't exempt from the Me Too era, like they said. And next one we got Habibi, Brandy, and Kimora. Yeah, I see Kimora out here telling a little bit about her story. Dread Passion, these men like this will be ready to unalive another man if this was their daughter. Hello? Come on, talk about it. Habibi Aaliyah.
T. Harris says
did I
that in
miss
the
one?
90s were wild.
Yes.
Dudes in their 20s and 30s used to always pull over and try to get your number. Wow.
Yeah.
While I had my backpack on. And you know what? That just reminded me. And pulling up to the McDonald's, R. Kelly. Them young men hanging around the high schools and things like that. Just disgusting.
And I mean, that's what you could call Wanya, because I mean, Brandy's 15, 16, that's high school age. 21, you just got out of high school. You're not far from high school, but you ain't in the bitch no more. You know what I'm saying? You don't go here. So,
Passion, you said I sound low. How about now? Check. Yo. Let me know if I'm louder.
Yeah, it sounds funny.
Yes, R.I.P. Aaliyah. Aaliyah. I'm glad Brandy's friend. Yeah. Yes, I'm glad that she is too. We're claiming that power, girl. We're claiming that power.
Period. just, I mean, especially off the fact that, you know, even though that was an old interview, but it's just like the recent interviews with Cam, Mason, and Shine. And then even Fredro Starr coming through and saying what he had to say. It's like Brandy has gone through and she's let y'all shenan, but she ain't finna let y'all shenan again.
As she shouldn't.
Okay. No, like y'all be playing in her face, and she just kept it cute, you know, all these years. I mean, yes, she got her, you know, her drama, you know, and she got whatever, you know, with her, but it's like, yo, how y'all men clocking her tea? That's crazy. And it's just like, then you trying to respin the story as something completely different, or, you know, just spin the story in general, like you have the floor with which to speak on this girl's body and things you may have or may not have happened. I don't know. It's just, it's weird. Very weird.
So getting back into the story, she says she was 15, he was 21. When they met, old enough to know better, old enough to understand the power dynamics at play. They were in a different culture. I mean, it was a different time culturally where men were seen as boys being boys, you know, their seemingly predatory behavior was excused by boys being boys, as girls were seen as fast and ass, you know what I'm saying, and dismissed as overreaction if they complained about something like that. It takes a responsibility off of men and places it on the shoulders of girls who were never equipped to carry such weight. I agree with that, Brandy. She said she said she has taken responsibility for being involved with an older man against her parents, but you know, it doesn't make it right at all. And at that time too, Adina Howard actually said that that she was involved with Wanya too around this time. One of the girls that he was probably cheating on Brandy with, and I think that was I'm not sure if the boy's mind is based off that, but Adina Howard, who sang "Freak Like Me," was involved.
But as Adina began working on her second album, she found other ways to get into trouble, thanks to a liaison with Wanya of Boys to Men, who at the time was dating Adina's platinum-selling label mate, Brandy.
Wanya met Adina, and it's on and popping. When you meet Adina, it's on and popping.
Two young ladies allowed their egos to get in the way and were kind of going through it about a guy.
And that conflict caught the attention of Adina's and Brandy's label exec, Sylvia Rohn.
There probably was an exchange of words for Adina not to focus on Wanya because we're focusing on this second record, and to focus mainly on that and not him.
Wendy Williams caught wind of it, called Adina, and Adina opened up like she normally would, except for she had some choice words in there for Sylvia and for Brandy. Well, that pissed Sylvia off. She was on fire.
You can be a boss on your record, but don't be a boss to the boss that makes your records. Or pay you to make your records.
You know, you got two queens in one castle. The one who writes the check is gonna win.
As a result, the release date for Adina's album was delayed indefinitely.
I said something very inappropriate about the head of the label, and she pulled up the emergency brake, shut everything down.
If you haven't seen Adina Howard's That's Unsung on TV One, yeah. So I'm just so sorry that happened to Brandy, to all the other young women who get taken advantage of. It's just terrible, and Wanya ought to be ashamed of himself, the way he broke that girl in to the industry. He's like, let me put a song in your heart. Let me give you an album. You know.
Yeah. And that's one of my favorite Brandy songs. That hurts.
What, Broken Hearted?
Yes.
Yeah.
That hurts.
Well, a little spoiler for what's to come, but the whole Never Say Never album is about Wanya. So he he said, let me give you something to write about, baby. That whole album is about Wanya. Okay, we gonna get to it, but that whole album was about Wanya and their relationship. If you go back and listen to every song on there.
I done told y'all to have your wig glue. I done told y'all to have your wig
Listen.
glue. If you ain't got your wig glue, goddamn.
That man took her through there. That man took her through there and gave her an album, okay? Gave her, let me give you something to write about. You're going to need this one day. It's a terrible situation. It's a terrible situation. And Wanya need to be jailed. But, you know, a lot of women back in that time was going through it. Like, you know, Aaliyah, when she was 15, you know, being married, you know, to R. Kelly's sick ass, you know, Brandy going through what she's going through. You would have never known. Maya, you know, talking about, you know, her having to deal with certain industry instances and how it is for young women being in the industry. And you need to know who you are. And one thing that Whitney used to always tell Brandy is don't let nobody else tell you who you are. And the thing is, Maya said it, like, if you don't know who you are, they're gonna let you might get chewed up and spit out, you know?
There are horrible things that happen every day, whether it be in the industry or not, mentally, emotionally, sexually, financially. And you have to break down your value. You really have to assess that and your standards. And it's very difficult if you don't know it, if you can't identify it regarding what's coming at you. And that takes some time to maybe step away if you walked into this game not knowing who you are and your limitations. You know, there can be power plays and ultimatums given for the people that hold the power, whether that be toward a female or male artist. You really have to protect, you know, what you allow yourself to believe, because it will be fed, whether it be your body image, what you need to change about yourself, how you need to sound, what you need to look like, how you need to dress, who you need to date, what you need to say. You grow into that. If you start early in any game without knowing who you are and being solid in some type of foundation, it's very dangerous for you as an individual. And you have to not be desperate. You have to be willing to say, I'm good, fuck you, and walk away, you know? But if contractually you have no options, that's a living hell, you know? I find it horrific to have to be buying to negative energies. I would definitely have to say those in power, you know, that want to abuse it and get off on abusing it, definitely plot on their prey, you know. And you have to be willing to sacrifice anything that you think you might benefit from, a career, etc., and say no, period, and learn how to do it yourself.
How did you stay so guarded within your career?
This is what I did. I said, no, I'm good, thank you. No, thank you. Okay, so sometimes that doesn't translate as far as what you are allowed to have, what you have access to. You will be blackballed, you will be talked about, you will be shitted on, you will be rumored about. But you have to stand strong on what you don't care for. It's not that serious to me, you know, if I have to sell my soul. And people will still try to manipulate, you know, the perception of you, regardless. But as long as you can go to bed at night and look in the mirror and be happy and say, thank God, you know, I've been kept. I'm still solid on who I am as a person. I understand that I might have sacrificed something in the physical world, but the spiritual world is not worth it. You're okay. You don't need to do anything. What you need to do is protect every part of your life, your spirit especially, because everything else is connected to that.
Did you ever feel like you were blackballed?
You know, I don't like to make excuses like that. I don't like to be bitter. I know what I feel. And when I feel negativity, and when I feel bullshit, and when I feel ultimatums coming my way, I gotta maneuver elsewhere, you know? So I don't give it the time of day to say, oh, I was blackballed, oh, you know, it's because of you that no, I don't make excuses. I just know what doesn't feel good, and I just don't work with those entities, and I just don't work with those energies or allow them in my life, you know? So independent has been a blessing for me. Not to diss any entity, because guess what? The major label system is beautiful. There are some people, not everyone, that have huge egos, you know, and awful mindsets towards men, towards women, towards people. And it's very difficult to be around. It's just very difficult. And the way they define success is not your idea of success.
So, you know, and mind you, this is Maya's album came out when she was 18. And so she was able to live a little life, you know, finish high school, and then, you know, have her record, you know, and career take off at 18. But still, she was still a kid. And she had a, you know, different head on her shoulders than Brandy, who was totally green, listening to her parents, had a wholesome image, you know, to uphold. And, you know, she is, like she said, beholden to this man's every word and listening to him and just being fooled, you know. It's just terrible. It's just terrible. So getting into Moesha, we get into the Moesha part of the book when she is starting her second album. She's trying to balance working on the album and doing Moesha at the same time. She is also trying hard to be a superstar, a newfound fame. Her her album was great, and now she has this hit TV show. So she's becoming exhausted, extremely exhausted in everything that she's doing. And she tried to back out of certain obligations, and her mama reminded her, now baby, you can be tired, but you signed on a dotted line. Okay, you got these contractual obligations, and you can't just back out. So she had to keep going. And mind you, her mama quit her job, so she's like, baby, I know you lying. You better get out there and work now.
That's where I was first gonna go. It's like, now hold on now. You know I didn't quit my job, so you got to do yours. Come on.
Right. So at this time, she's well into her character Moesha, and at this point, she is starting to confuse the two of Brandy and Moesha. She is, not sure of who she is. She doesn't know who she is. She's just a kid. So she's trying to figure it out publicly. She then goes into her relationship with Ray J. And she's trying to look out for him without being a snitch. So she's telling her parents and making them aware of his whereabouts. Like, have you seen Ray? Have you checked his closet? Because, in LA, the colors run the streets. Okay. It's a whole political thing going on. And, Ray J is inheriting a different wardrobe at this time. So Brandy's like, have you seen Ray? Have you seen Ray? Okay. Keep your eyes on him. All right.
Get the bandanas in his closet now.
Okay. So, check the wardrobe. It's getting different. She then goes on to mention him not succeeding as early as she did, and it's kind of upsetting to the entire family that he never really popped off the way that Brandy popped off. But they have a strong bond, a strong love, and the support is out of this world. They love each other and they support one another. So, love never wavered and they just keep pushing. Now we get into Whitney Houston and her love of Whitney and how she first met her. So the first story goes with her first interaction with Whitney Houston. She is at a taping at 12 years old. She's at a studio taping in a live audience, and BB and CC are the special guests, and they're singing. And so a young Brandy stands up in her seat in the audience and starts to sing a BB and CC song. She grew up in the church, so she know all the songs. So she starts to sing, and they're like, okay. So she gets invited backstage, and a young Brandy's like, all right, BB, I know you know Whitney. I know you know her because y'all did a song together. You know her. Can you call her for me? She did all that to get her to call her. Can you call her for me? I know y'all friends. So BB's like, well, I thought you was here to see me, but okay. She calls Whitney on the phone, hey, Whitney, girl, what you doing? Hey, no, let BB. You know what I'm saying? So she lets Whitney talk to a young Brandy, and Brandy is super excited. She makes her life with that. Okay, so her first attempt at actually meeting Whitney at this point, she's 13 years old, and she is going to New York because Whitney has a management company, and she's trying to, I guess, be managed by Whitney, but she misses the opportunity because Whitney is pregnant at this time and she having a baby. So she missed that opportunity to meet her. So 2 years later, she was finally able to meet Whitney Houston at the Kids' Choice Awards when she was 16 years old, and I think I have a little clip of them meeting for the first time.
Hey, baby girl.
Only extra with this amazing video, the superstar surprising her biggest fan.
Where you going? Don't you start crying and carrying on and stuff. Come here with your little pretty self.
I'm so proud of you.
so proud. Yeah, oh, look at you. How you handling that, huh? It's cool. It's cool. Come on, let's go and sit down.
So that was so sweet. She finally and Brandy talks about that exact encounter in the book. So unlike Wanya with a motive, Whitney puts Brandy on in the best ways, okay, like a fairy godmother would. Okay, Whitney starts to call her, become a mentor to her, puts her up on game. They talk at that meeting, they talked there. She called her one day, presented the idea to be a part of the Waiting to Exhale soundtrack. She's like, Babyface gonna get you right. She ends up putting her on in the best ways, okay? And Sitting Up in My Room is the song that is the crossover pop hit for Brandy, becoming her longest charting song of her career, lasting 33 weeks at the charts. So Sitting Up in My Room definitely did a number for Brandy. Then Whitney calls her again with another opportunity to play Cinderella, and Brandy's like, only if you be my fairy godmother. And that was a total time with that.
Who are you? I'm your fairy godmother, honey.
Oh, Brandy, come up. We gotta sing. She called me the night before and said, you gotta be ready. You gotta be ready. Okay, possible. I was like, oh my God, what if I crack? She's a very sweet and innocent child. Do that note and go all the way back from the mic, and I'll come forward. Who just really needs encouragement to get to the next step. I just wanted to do it right. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible. That is so cool. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible. This is the note. Impossible. Why are you down there? Possible. Please do that.
I love that. I just that was my movie when I was little, man. I love that movie, Cinderella.
Tore my heart.
It did, man. And they stayed in touch for the rest of Whitney's life. At the end, we remember that moment when Wendy passed her that note. Remember? Now, Brandy never talks about what's in the note, but she did reveal, like, after that, Whitney called her and they spoke for like 3 hours. And then, of course, the next day, Whitney passes away. But at the end of the call, she did tell Brandy, I'm going to get better. R.I.P. Whitney Houston. And their bond was amazing. The fairy godmother to Whitney Houston. Now we get into Dark Child. We know Dark Child, Rodney Jerkins, and how he played a great role in Brandy's life. So they meet after Brandy is in the car and she hears Mary J. Blige's I Can Love You Better with Lil' Kim. She can. Yeah, so she hears that. She's like, oh my gosh, like who did that beat, And Rodney Jerkins actually made that beat. So the A&R set it up for Rodney to work on Brandy's second album. And mind you, at this point, Rodney Jerkins is, on the come up just like Brandy. I mean, she had a successful first album, but we all know about the sophomore jinx. Your second album is never really as good as the first. So artists are always trying to make their second album really hit and stick. So she opens up to Rodney and his team about all the things about Wanya, how he did her, how he played her, and she comes up with the concept of, what if we do all the titles of the album cliche references, like Never Say Never, Angel in Disguise, different cliche references like that. So they're like, okay, cool. So they roll with that, and they get to write and they get to work. She puts a lot of the lessons of her relationship with Wanya into the album. Brandy opened up, to the team, like I just said. And the team consisted of Rodney Jerkins, LaShawn Daniels, Freddie, and Brandy at this point. LaShawn Daniels, RIP to him, such a phenomenal writer. If a lot of people watched the Tamar and Vince show, he was Vince's friend on that show, but he's a well-accomplished songwriter who passed away. But RIP to him. So they, help cultivate the Mary J. Blige. Not Mary J. Blige. I'm sorry. Never Say Never album, which is my favorite Brandy album. So next we get into Brandy versus Monica. So Brandy talks about her first interactions with Monica. She says that she was nervous to call her to ask her to be a part of The Boy Is Mine. So she had her label do it, and the label did it. And Monica actually called Brandy like, girl, why you ain't call me? You know what I'm saying? Why you just ain't call me yourself? Brandy's timid. She's nervous all the time. She's just trying to find herself. So they talk, and then Brandy she says she goes to Georgia, and they hang out at Six Flags, and they're having a great time bonding. And then a fan approaches them, because they were getting away with it being low-key at first, but a fan approaches them as they go on this one ride called the Ninja, which was a popular ride at Six Flags over Georgia. And the fan comes up to her like, oh my gosh, Moesha, can I get your autograph? And then afterwards Monica is like, is it weird to have people call you Moesha, like your character name? And Brandy says, yes, it's kind of bothers her, but she just lets it happen. And Monica's like, well, why? And Brandy's like, well, she shrugs her shoulders and says she doesn't know. She just doesn't want to ruin the fantasy for them, I guess. It's that public perception that Brandy is struggling with throughout her whole life. It's the public perception. So fast forward, Brandy records The Boy Is Mine, and I really want to hear the original of it, because she said it was a different vibe because she did it by herself. But they record it, and then Brandy says they actually go to Atlanta to record it with Monica, and the session went great. She thought it was great. And Monica actually called back and wanted to cut her vocals only with Dallas Austin, because she felt that it sounded too clean. So, and actually have Rodney Jerkins talking about that.
Yeah. Why were they still beefing when they had because that was their biggest song ever individually as well.
Why is Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor still beefing? They had the biggest fight in history together.
I guess.
You could shake hands and go to dinner after that if you really want to and be like, yo, we changed the game. Manny Pacquiao and Floyd, we changed the game. But
still that competitiveness.
It's competitive. If you don't really, really like each other, you probably won't. You might go like this and be like, yeah, okay, we did that. Now we're gonna still be competitive. Yeah.
Were they kind of beefing with each other in the studio as well?
We didn't work together, so that was one of the things that was odd, right? Because it was separate.
They couldn't even be in the same studio.
Nah, it was. We did Brandy's vocals in L.A. and Dallas did Monica's vocals in Atlanta. And then he sent me he sent me her vocals. Actually, I recorded Brandy, and then I recorded Monica. And then Monica felt like the vocals were too clean. So she wanted Dallas to do her vocals. So that's when she went to Dallas to do her vocals and then he sent it to us.
So I'm kind of confused at that, because Brandy says that she was there. So, and then Rodney's like, saying that he was there, and then people say it was just Dallas. So it's really confusing for me. But nevertheless, the song got recorded. Monica was on Jive Records at the time, and Brandy was on Atlantic. So now this is where the tension comes in as Brandy recalls it. So Clive rerouted the song The Boy Is Mine, because I feel like when people heard that and they heard, what happened on it, they're like, oh my gosh, this is a smash record. This is a Grammy award-winning song. Mm-hmm. I have to get this on my artist, because they're not on the same label. So Clive reroutes the song and then calls Monica's album The Boy Is Mine. but it's a Brandy record. That's crazy.
Oh,
because she's featured on it, but it's a
yeah.
song. It's Brandy's song. Clive is like, you know what? I'm going to capitalize off this too and sell some records. He titles Monica's album "The Boy Is Mine." Crazy, and that's a gut punch to Brandy. So
yeah,
Brandy blames Monica before knowing the full story of what happened. She's like, how are you titling your album "The Boy's Mine"? You know, but the industry
my song.
The industry is
I
at
play
work.
them against each other.
So exactly. So Brandy is blaming Monica. So this causes tension already. So fast forward, Brandy goes on the Tonight Show and performs the song solo because, mind you, Brandy has an album to promote. She has to promote Never Say Never, and she feels like, hey, I have to do this, and whether Monica's here or not, because I believe Monica had a prior engagement or something and she couldn't make it. So Brandy performs a song. Monica is upset about that. So then the VMAs come, about the infamous VMAs. Now, Brandy says that the tensions are high, and she said that the energy is that bad energy is vibrating in the air, but they get through the performance. So that's all Brandy says. She doesn't say anything about a fight. She doesn't say anything other than there's bad energy vibrating in the air and that the tensions are high at the VMAs. Now, Dallas Austin recalled it very differently because he says he was there.
But Monica never liked Brandy, and Brandy never, she was like, Monica's very ghetto when it came down to it. She was like, she's too proper and she's too this, and I think Brandy might have looked at her a certain way a couple of times and looked at her like the little, And so from that point, it was just like they, even to have them do The Boy's Mine, Monica was like, nope, not doing no song with her. I was like, come on, you got to. It just makes the most sense, and Clive wants it, and let's just do it. So we did the song. I did Monica's stuff out here, and the Brandy's out there. And the first time they actually saw each other to do it was, I think it was American Music Awards or something. And before they could even get to the stage, Monica decked her in the face, popped in the face backstage. And I'm like, oh my God, this is even before the performance. So everybody's finding out how we're gonna have a performance that looked like they're not, at war with each other. But it worked out because the song was supposed to be at war with each other, so nobody could really tell that she had punched in the face before the performance.
Okay, hold on. So they do a song together, and I think it's also kind of dope that Rodney Jerkins, Darkchild, co-produced it because he was Brandy's main producer.
Yep.
So all the producers and all the the two producers and two artists go and make this dope song. And even though they make the song, they never actually meet face to face or whatever, even though the song becomes a hit until that one day, until that show?
Until the show. And the show was like earlier, it was, they'd sang, like I said, Monica's song here and Brandy's song out there, and the record came out and the whole nine, and even the video was all right.
Why would they have a beef when they now have a hit song together?
Because they just never did like each other in the first place.
And see, it's a contradiction because it's like he's saying they never seen each other until the VMAs, but Brandy said they hung out at Six Flags
with Disneyland,
and then he also says that she got punched in the face right before the VMAs, and Brandy's saying tensions are high, but she never mentions being punched in the face.
I mean, but would you admit to getting punched in the face while you just had a successful tour with this person?
I mean, if we're writing a book and being honest, why not mention the fight?
Like you said, she struggles with that perception now. So,
I mean,
she don't want to admit she got punched in the face.
So that's I don't know what to believe. So that's what Brandy says. Just tensions were high and there was bad energy in the room. Tell me, chat, what you guys think about that. I don't know. Now Brandy doesn't really, like I said, get into detail about it. Dallas has his view on it. I've never really heard Monica speak about it. So
Ever.
And Dark Child, aka Rodney Jerkins, don't know because he wasn't there. So he said that. 5 months later, they showed up at the Grammys Awards together and won for Best R&B Performance by Duo or Group. So they got the Grammy for that. Shout out to them. Next, she talks about Vibe magazine, and like I was saying earlier, this is when the reporter would come hang out with the talent, get to know them, and then do a write up about them. And this Vibe column really put Brandy on blast for the good girl reputation, and said, Brandy shows you what she wants you to see about her. I mean, that's pretty much anybody, if you ask me. Before we get into that, though, I wanted to play a clip of Brandy and Monica on their relationship back.
As teenagers, we were both very competitive, and we didn't remember what it was like to be together, or we didn't even know what it was like to be together, rather. And it was interesting. The Boys Mind was an interesting run, but being together now in this day and time, and us being older and wiser and better communicators, it's just a different thing now. And it feels better, it feels easier, it feels like we're having so much fun with it now.
Yeah, I agree. I agree in a lot of ways, because for me, I've never competed with anyone else. I was always told things that supposedly came from her or other people, and what we learned most from that is we don't allow anybody else to dictate what happens in our relationship. Even if we disagree amongst each other. Keeping it here, though, eliminates any room for negative outside energy. So we would never want to do anything like that when it comes to this record. We're able to do the things we need to do, pack up yesterday, say that's over and done with, and move on.
Yeah, so if you notice, Brandy is talking about the competition, and when I play Rodney Jerkins, he's talking about the competition. So they have two different camps, and they're on two different missions. Monica's not competing with anybody. She doing her. She Miss Thing out here. Brandy is Floyd Mayweather, as he referenced or whatever like that. She's trying to win. And her parents and everybody's betting everything on her, so that's her attitude. Another reminder from her mother, she had a day off from Moesha, so Brandy's thinking like, okay, I can lounge around, I could go hang out with my friends, I could do everything. But her mom said, just because you're not shooting today doesn't mean the phone stops ringing. And I know that's real, because baby, you don't want that phone to stop ringing. You don't want that phone to start ringing. You need to stay booked and busy, baby. That's how you get that start you got. You know what I'm saying? So mama knows best. So Brandy sucks it up and is like, okay, well, what we working on next? Her mom presents the opportunity to play alongside Diana Ross in a new movie. So she getting these movies, child. At this point, she's doing that movie. She's doing the Screams or whatever movies that she's played. I Know What You Did Last Summer. I'm sorry. I Know What You Did Last Summer. She has a Don't Kill Me clause in there, so she can't die.
Hello, come on, don't kill me, clause.
Okay,
well, come on, don't kill me, clause. Because
right.
y'all know how they like to kill us within the first 15
and that's
minutes.
What she said.
Hell no. Hell no. Come on, Brandy, with the don't kill me clause. Come on.
Yeah. And so she then goes into how explain how her mother had it hard in this industry of executives fighting on her children's behalf. They always talking to her crazy and things like that. She had to hold it down. Next, she talks about her insecurities and of her body and her beauty. She says that discipline demands obsession. That stood out to me. Discipline demands obsession, and I agree with that because I do become obsessed when I'm disciplined. So this is when she doesn't say eating disorder, but she alludes to it. So she talks about and starts to describe what is an eating disorder, is what it said to me. She's talking about pills, which I assume is diet pills, throwing up, and what she calls purging. She also talks about the rigorous exercises that she was doing to stay thin, to uphold an image. Mind you, at this time, nobody is noticing anything. because you know she's skinny. So she went from like 120 to like 105, and nobody is saying anything to her. They're just like, oh, you look good, you look great, Brandy, you know, from her doing photo shoots, shooting the TV show. Nobody's saying nothing.
Wow.
So she has developed this next thing. So then we get into the dreamer. This is the next abusive relationship that she is in. This man is verbally, emotionally abusing her. He was a background dancer for her on her tour, and at this point, she's, you know, older, so she got an apartment, so she feeling grown, you know. She done moved this guy in, and they playing house, you know, and he's very jealous of her. He is overly jealous of Brandy and her success, and he is a background dancer. She has found herself dimming her own light to give him the shine whenever they go somewhere, like, hey, don't worry about me, check out my man. Check out my man, you know. And if a man speaks to her, looks at her any kind of way, he gets enraged. He, you know, goes off on her, cusses her out, and called her a B like 15 times in one setting. She recalls. Then she has a nervous breakdown. Her body shuts down, and they, you know, the dreamer, she calls him the dreamer. I wish I knew who this dude is. She calls him the dreamer. He has to call her parents. They get her to a hospital. They get her a therapist, and they help her cope with the day-to-day life mentally for her, because she's just a workhorse at this time. Nobody's really checking on her mentally, which is sad. So it took a nervous breakdown for her to get a therapist. After some time in therapy, she returns back to her apartment, because after she passes out and has that nervous breakdown, she went and lived with her parents, stayed with her parents for a while. She then gets better, goes back to her apartment, and she kicks out the dreamer and moves and finds solace in Calabasas, and she has a fresh start. Then she goes on this faith journey where she tries out all different kinds of religions: Islam, Scientology, Buddhism, every type of religion she could name. And it's so funny to me how she did Scientology. She tries to learn about it, and she said the same thing Jada Pinkett in her book. They both, you know, were intrigued about it. They did like some of the teachings and things that they do in Scientology. They don't commit to it though. They don't find themselves committing and joining the religion. So she goes on this whole spiritual journey, finding her way. She concludes her mission and her journey, and concludes that God is in everything, and most importantly within. So then we get to the Full Moon album, which is another great album, another one of my favorites. What About Us became the song about the dreamer, her abusive relationship with this man that she was taking care of. You know, like I said, he was in her house. She was paying all the bills. She was the star. You know, you can hear it when you hear What About Us. You hear, and throughout the Full Moon album, a lot of that album is about that relationship. Along with
like my Bath Baker said, not the black K-Fed.
Okay.
I mean, she said not K-Fed. I'm putting black on it. I just, you know, hey.
We assume. She doesn't give a description, and she don't leave any clues. Like when I was reading the Jada Pinkett book, Jada at least gave clues to people that she ain't saved no names about. But Brandy did not. So the song Love Wouldn't Count Me Out, I feel like is a lot. That song is beautiful. She sang it so great, but I feel like that was a song about the dreamer as well. I think the song Wow from that album, Full Moon, was about her relationship with Robert, who became her baby daddy. Then, while working on the Full Moon album, she's back with Rodney and his team, and he's added Robert Burt Smith to the camp, which is his cousin, and that becomes the father of her child, because that blossoms into a relationship on that album. And so after the album, she does a lot of demos and songs. She ends up writing for J-Lo with the song Ride or Die, Kelly Rowland. I know you love J-Lo, so you don't have to do your eyes like that. She did Kelly Rowland's Love Hate, and then she did Toni Braxton's Selfish.
It just don't even sound right, like Brandy Norwood writing for Jennifer Lopez.
I mean, it was demos that she had left over from the Full Moon album, I guess, you know, and why not make some
with
money?
leftover vocals, we know. With leftover vocals, yes.
I mean,
yes.
I haven't listened to that song. I have to go back and listen to those songs. But that's what it says in the book, okay? When word spread, so now Brandy is pregnant. She gets into the relationship. She is pregnant. And then once word spread, people started to congratulate her. And they ask her, when is the big day? And she says that her and Robert shared a love, but they weren't ready to get married, you know. She was okay with being a baby mama, you know what I'm saying? She has a song Baby Mama on B7, which is dope. But they did make a pledge to one another, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. They made a pledge to one another, a spiritual bond. Her good girl persona led her the idea to say that she was married. So she said she was laying in bed with him one day, and she said to him, you know, if people ask, we should say we're married, you know, just to kind of save her image. And I just, you know, that's just Brandy's young mind just thinking again that she shouldn't have did that, you know. So we all know she went on Oprah and she was lying, and it came out, you know, she had the baby special, and it was cute and all the things, and they was just faking it, you know. Her and Robert end up breaking up. You know, she doesn't really go into detail about the breakup for her daughter's sake. I believe it's for her daughter's sake. She doesn't really go into details about the breakup. And I'm just going to smooth past this because just for her daughter's sake, you know, I want to respect Brandy's wishes. But I will say, after a couple of appearances, once they broke up, Robert didn't appreciate some of them interviews, and so he did some of his own with Wendy Williams and spilled the tea that they weren't actually ever married. That's how people found out that she wasn't really married.
God.
And then he went on another radio station and revealed,
Father God, wait.
I know.
Wait a minute.
We got to get through this thing. We take it. I feel like I'm taking so long. So fast forward, we get to the Aphrodisiac album. Brandy says that she really wanted to work with Timbaland. Mind you, back at the Full Moon album, the relationship kind of soured with Rodney Darkchild because he was giving the Brandy sound away to everybody. And we know that because everything started to sound alike, you know, from Destiny's Child, everybody. He had a sound and he was giving it to everybody, and Brandy felt like betrayed because that was exclusively her sound, just like Aaliyah and Timbaland. So fast forward to the Aphrodisiac album, Brandy says that she really wanted to work with Timbaland. Timbaland actually revealed to her that Aaliyah did not want him to work with her, not because she didn't like Brandy, but because they built a sound and she wanted to keep it for herself. And, you know, rightfully so. She and Timbaland had a sound. She wanted to keep it sacred. She didn't want to share that and have the comparisons of any other female artists. Brandy felt the same way about Rodney Jerkins. And when he started to work with other people, she heard the sound, the harmonies, and everything that they worked on other women, and she didn't appreciate that. Brandy felt that the stacked harmonies, in which became her signature sound, the song structures and the way that she approached records on Never Say Never and the Full Moon album, she heard on a lot of other people's songs, and she didn't like that. So Rodney Jerkins plays a song for Brandy that sounded like he was going to give it to her, like, what you think about this? And she's like, okay, yeah, this hot, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can hear this. He's like, nah, pump your brakes, boo. This is going to Shantae Moore. Damn. And Shantae Moore did spoke about this song too, because not only that, Rodney was getting to the money. He then took that, turned around and gave a similar song to Jennifer Lopez, and it became "If You Had My Love."
Fire! Oh my goodness,
baby!
Oh God!
He was getting to the money.
Yeah, Brandy. Yeah, Brandy.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I don't blame you, sis. I don't blame
Brandy
you.
felt like Rodney was giving the great records away, and that could have been used for her album, and she was left with the scraps. That's how she felt, that he was giving away, getting to the money, while she was left with the scraps for records. One of their biggest arguments ended up, he ended up telling her, "You go do what you're gonna do while I go sell 5 million records with Beyonce." Disrespectful.
You know what that remind me of? You remember Ike Turner when he told Tina, yeah, you go ahead and do your little la-da-da thing. You go ahead and do your la-da-da thing. You ain't Donna Summer. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Brandy decides to move on. You know, she moves on and she goes and works with Timbaland. But her Full Moon album wasn't received. But the Aphrodisiac album wasn't received like her first two albums. No, I'm sorry. The Full Moon album wasn't received like her first two albums. Like, it didn't hit like the Brandy debut or the Never Say Never. And I agree, because the production on Full Moon, some of the production was all over the place. It was just like, it was too loud. It was too many things going on. And I understand the futuristic aspect of it, but Brandy needs those harmonies to soar. She needs to have that soar. I feel like Never Say Never allowed her voice to just soar. You know, and Angel
it's like
she
found pockets. Yeah, she found pockets that it's just like at that time that like she said, that's hers. Like, what are you doing? And then it's like you're watering it down. Like, and my undercover beef with J-Lo aside, you're literally watering it down, giving it to this girl who could not hold a fucking tune if it came in a paper bag. It's just, and then on top of it, you leaving my background, my vocals, my main vocals as her background track, which is like, so you basically saying, this bitch can sing like me. Oh no. Like,
and I forget who wrote If You Had My Love, but they did say that they put the background vocals on there. Yeah, so it wasn't Brandy who did If You Had My Love.
No. I remember Shantae Moore bringing that story up. So yeah.
So the Full Moon wasn't as well received as her first two albums. So the label made her work with Kanye West. The label said, "Listen, we're gonna bring in our own. We're gonna guide this thing for you." Mind you, Sylvia Rome and the team that she started with is no longer there. You know, they've been replaced. You know, just like jobs, people get new jobs, new positions. So she had to prove herself all over again, which is terrible. So she really wanted to work with Timbaland. There's like, no, you're gonna work with Kanye West, because they seen the success that Kanye was having. You know, he did You Don't Know My Name with Alicia Keys, one of my favorites songs of hers. So, you know, I understand it. While Brandy wanted to work solely with Timbaland, because Brandy's the type, let's just do it with one, I guess. So she struggled to find her voice because the team was different, like I said, and the Full Moon album did not do as good. So she didn't really have a leg to stand on. Mind you, I believe her mother wasn't managing her, because she asked her to step back and just be her mom. She, especially after the nervous breakdown and stuff, she really wanted her to
I just need my mom.
So Brandy was just out here. So she says the label ultimately did a deal behind her back, and they were trying to poach Kanye West to sign with Atlantic. So they offered 2 singles. They offered her album for him to do 2 singles on her album. One would be guaranteed to be the single, and then they said that they would have her do a feature on his new album, which was Late Registration at the time. So how you negotiating? Didn't even ask her. You just telling her what she gonna do
on her behalf. Yeah,
terrible. Good and terrible.
Crazy.
Okay, to add insult to injury, the song Kanye didn't even chart like the label thought it would. And then Timbaland's records kind of fell to the wayside because the traction wasn't there for the album. So the album suffered. Aphrodisiac suffered. And the song that Kanye did for her was the single was Talk About Our Love. Yeah. And it didn't chart like that. So screw you, label. The label deemed Aphrodisiac a flop, and Brandy got upset and asked to be released from Atlantic Records. At the label that she started with, she asked for a release, and they released her. And that explains why, well, to me, looking at her albums, that explains why they dropped the Best Of album in 2005. Woo! When the Best Of come out, that's when you know something's happening with your career.
When it's time to
Yeah.
Scary.
But they were just trying to do a collection of all the things that was on Atlantic, so they just trying to make up for money that they would have lost.
Yeah.
So I understand the business, but I still think that it's something awful when the way that veteran artists are treated, especially after they proven themselves and they brought the label a lot of money.
Again.
You know, they always have to, you know, take a hit
Prove
like
themselves.
that. It's just sad. Just sad. So this is not a good time for Brandy. The pain is continuing. She then gets involved into a fatal crash, leaving a woman dead. According to California Highway Patrol, Brandy was driving a 2007 Land Rover on the 405 freeway in California, and she failed to slow down and struck the back of a 2005 Honda at 65 miles per hour, and the lady passed away due to blunt force injuries. She falls into a depression at this time, and she retreats to her home. She doesn't want to leave the house, and she's just at home raising her daughter. But the good thing about that is her daughter is encouraging her and giving her the strength to keep going. So shout out to Sarah for that. She then signs a deal with Epic Records. Epic is like, you need to call Rodney right about now.
Right now.
And you know, it's just sad to me, as many times as Brandy had to tuck her tail and, you know, put her ego aside for people, you know what I'm saying? So she called Rodney and asked him to be a part of her next album, and he said yes. You know, Rodney gonna get that money. Under pressure from Epic to sell records. So Rodney came through and did some songs. I can't tell you a song off the album, baby. That album was called Human, and it didn't do Nathaniel. Baby, the label heard that and dropped her ass in 7 months.
Damn.
Brandy is on a spiral. Brandy is on a spiral.
I think at that time too, like so much time had passed from them working together. You know what I mean? Like the chemistry was probably just gone.
I mean, it was a strained relationship, you know?
Yeah.
A year later, Rodney and Brandy have a conversation, and he asks her, does she think that he was not focused on her Human album? And she says, you haven't been as focused as you used to be. And then he asked her, was she as focused as she used to be? And she had to admit that she wasn't focused either. She says that for him, it wasn't about music, it was about loyalty. Rodney felt like he was a work for hire producer. In the past, when he worked on Never Say Never or Full Moon, he was solely on the project. It was him and his team. Remember, she would tell his team all the secrets, and they would write about it, and it would be a whole package deal that they would have. But on this one, she wanted to work with other producers, and he felt like he was work for hire. But at the same time, she presents how she felt that the energy wasn't reciprocated, because as loyal as he wanted her to be, he wasn't loyal to her by working with other artists, giving the sound away.
I mean,
come on now. Make it make sense.
Come on, brother. Meet her in the middle of the street now. I don't know. Yeah.
So they leave that conversation there, and Brandy says that she really doesn't talk to him to this day. So, you know, it is what it is. I feel like, you know, that's one of them relationships that people were in your time for a season, and it's okay to move on. That's it is what it is, and it was what it was. Fast forward, she goes on a camper trip with her mother. Her mom plans this trip because so they can work on their relationship and getting past, you know, the mother-daughter time that they never got to spend. Then her daughter finds out that she is Brandy. Brandy has a gathering at her house. Brandy likes to cook, so she inherited cooking from her mother, and she has everybody over, and they're watching old Brandy footage, and her daughter's like, hold on, wait a minute. What is this? You know, and learns about her mom. And so her mom, they're able to have that beautiful moment of her explaining and just her daughter just being all into what her mom is doing. She wanted her daughter to know her mom was not, so Brandy didn't want to tell her daughter right off the bat about her being a superstar, but her daughter kind of felt it, because she was like, well, people taking pictures of us randomly when we going to the store, like, you know, is that why people doing that to us? She was like, yeah, you know. But you know, Brandy wasn't trying to hide the world from her daughter. She was trying to keep the kid away from the world. However the Drake thing go.
However the thing go.
However it go. Then Brandy talks about her time on Broadway as Roxy Hart in Chicago, so in the Chicago musical. So at this point, mind you, Brandy's music career kind of faded. She could never really get on the good foot with it, especially after the Human album. So she got an opportunity to do Broadway, in which she pounced on, because I love it that she has acting and things to fall back on, because she is an artiste of all the facets. So she begins to get on a regiment to prepare, and she kills the role as Roxy Hart on the Chicago musical. Then it's time for her to get back into the studio, and this time she wants to do it a little differently, and I'm almost done, guys. I'm almost done. Thank you for hanging in there with me. I appreciate you. We're almost at the end of the book. I told you it was going to be a lot. So we get to the end. She does the B7 album, and this is kind of like her reset album, and it's one of my favorite albums. I appreciated it, and you could kind of hear the production. She worked with somebody new, a local producer. She also brought in LaShawn Daniels, who helped her write a long time ago with Never Say Never. You know, LaShawn Daniels' pen is crazy. He has her writing and trying new things and things like that, and then tragically he passes away before the album is done. So she had a hard time kind of finishing the album, but she ends up getting through it. She closes the book with the woman she's become: complicated, contradictory, still evolving. She is fiercely proud of herself and ready for more. So that is the book, basically, for Brandy's phases, the phases of her life. We got to the end, y'all.
Come on. One time for Brandy.
You know, my overall thoughts of the book, I know we've been talking, but my overall thoughts of the book, I think well done. It took a lot for her to open up, because as we know, she has struggled with the perception of others her whole life and trying to be liked by people. You know, it's been a lifelong journey for her, and I just pray that she continues to open up and be herself and continues to tell her truth, and don't let these men play on her top, you know.
Period.
Overall,
double down on their asses.
Yeah. Another couple of things that I've seen and learned throughout the book. Her mom loved some cocoa butter. She explains how, you know, the beginning when she was small, her mom was smelling like cocoa butter. You know, we love cocoa butter in the Black household. Her and Ray are 25 months apart. She was a very gullible young woman, very green, as we, you know, in a very cutthroat industry, a little lamb, if you will. Brandy's diet was slick, kind of poor. You know, I heard a lot about Del Taco, a lot about fast foods, fried chicken and waffles, damn macaroni and cheese. I ain't never heard of vegetable until she went and did Roxy. When she did the Chicago show on Broadway, she, cleaned her diet up. But before then, I was hearing about everything. I'm like, Brandy, where the vegetables? What is the vegetables?
Ooh, your stomach bubbling.
But I understand as a kid, you you on the go all the time and crafty and all the things. So I understand it, but I just wanted to mention it was a lot of poor eating, a lot of fast foods, fried chicken, waffles, macaroni, everything, yams,
greens, beans, potatoes, tomatoes.
Right. She cooking fried chicken. Her mama's famous fried chicken. Her mom and dad could have done a better job of prioritizing her mental health, if you ask me. Like, but they're workers. I understand, and that was a different time. They did a lot of work. Her mom was dedicated to the success of Brandy, in which she succeeded. But I felt like, nowadays, you have people like Naomi Osaka who will take time for mental health. But at that time, it was a different story. And I felt like her parents could have done a better job at that. But, it is what it is. And, watching over the whole Wanya thing, child, is beyond me. I will say Brandy is a hard worker, baby. When I say she is a hard worker, that lady works, okay? Ronnie Jerkins in one interview explained that while working on one album, I forget which one it was, I think it was Full Moon, she was doing the album and then training with Serena, playing tennis with Serena every morning, and just staying in shape. So, her discipline was out of this world. I think Brandy still struggles with public perception, of course. It's understandable dealing with her career and growing up in the industry with not a lot of guidance. So
being told you ugly the whole time.
Yes.
Too, that's gotta be the ugly thing. Just like,
from kids
just
to adults.
Being picked apart, but literally being told you were ugly. Called E.T., things of that. That's really gotta mentally jack you up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So damn, kudos to Brandy.
Yeah. This book, though, I do wish there were more straightforward conversation, but I appreciated it. It sounded like to me an As Told by Ginger episode. I know I'm telling my age, but if you ever grown up in the early 2000s, as told, grass is much greener on the other side. But Brandy has to realize from where I'm standing, my grass is green. She had to, that's what it sounded like, because it sounded like she journaled her whole life and she's kind of telling it. But it kind of reminded me of an As Told by Ginger type vibe. The book will definitely increase streams, like I said, because following the different stories, you go back and listen to that Never Say Never album. Like the whole relationship, and I love you, baby. And when she sings Angel in Disguise, and when she's like, I love you, you can feel that she loved Wanya. You could feel that she loved that man. And just her pleading.
I'm thinking of the song now, yeah.
I see how you felt for her until she broke your heart and left you in the rain, but still I love you.
Still I love you.
That's crazy. But she's a child. She don't know. That's her first love, that she thinks that love, whatever love is to her. She's screaming, I love you on that song, Angel in Disguise, throughout the whole thing. Almost doesn't count as my favorite song off that album, baby. Almost made you love me. Almost made you cry. Almost made you happy, babe. Didn't I? You almost had me thinking. You were turned around, but everybody knows almost doesn't count. Baby, I can't keep on loving you 1 foot outside the door. I hear a funny hesitation of a heart that's never really sure. Come on. Can't keep on trying if you're looking for more than I can give you. Then what you came here for? Come on. I'm going to find me somebody not afraid to let go. Go ahead. Cause I could
wanna no doubt be their kind of man, but you came real close. Lord, I tell you, when you grow and you actually listen to these damn lyrics, you find like you just sit at the edge of your seat like, oh.
But every time you build me up, you always let me down. Come on now, you gotta feel them lyrics. You gotta feel them lyrics, man. And I forgot who that was wrote by. That wasn't written by Darkchild's team. That was written by somebody else. But baby, you could feel the pain in that whole album. That is my top 3 favorite Brandy albums.
Yeah.
Never Say Never, number 1, baby. Number 2, I'm gonna give it to Full Moon. Number 3, I'm gonna give it to the Brandy debut album. And number 4, I'm gonna put B7 right there. But because Never Say Never, y'all can listen to that to this day.
That's one of them ones. Yeah. And just the Angel in Disguise alone.
Angel in Disguise. Is she talking about Adina? You know. But Almost Doesn't Count is my favorite song, bro.
Look, I don't know if she was talking about Adina, but the way she look, I ain't trying to Miss Norwood, I respect you, but the way that you be hesitant to even pinch a bitch, I think you should just leave Miss Adina alone. If that's who you
Well, they way older now. She ain't nobody fighting. But like and Rodney, that And I Love You Baby is from a sample of Joe, because you know Rodney worked with Joe.
Yes.
And I love you, baby. And she said that it was kind of like how she would hear Wanya, and I love saying how he loved her, and I love you, baby. Like just like, you know, a redundant type of.
And I love you, baby.
That's not it.
Yeah.
It works for a time until it doesn't work anymore. You know, and then hers, I'm telling y'all, listen to Angel in Disguise when she lets out that I love you. I never do the thing she did. Take your heart and run away with it. No, because I really, really love you. You could just hear her. She just pleading.
You can hear it from the bottom of her soul, yeah.
She meant it.
She's saying it from like all her emotions. Yeah, she means that.
She meant it, man. She meant it. But yeah, so the predatory behaviors of the time, R. Kelly, Wanya, you know, people, it's just real sick. But yeah, man. Let's read some of these chats before we get up out of here. I appreciate y'all, like I said, listening.
We appreciate y'all sticking with us.
Yes.
Yeah, but look, I hope y'all can go ahead and take your bobby pins and you got to be glue and your wig straps. Y'all can go ahead and take all that off. I know it got to be hurting y'all at this point.
What did y'all think? What did y'all think?
What do y'all feel?
I hope I did a good job. Like, I know I was all over the place sometimes. I took notes.
Look, you hit the gas on the parts you need to hit the gas on, and you got us straight through the look.
And I'm talking more than I usually do.
Yes, come on, get one time for Octavia.
I'm telling you,
getting the notes.
Her vocal and runs are listen, y'all. Tomorrow, tonight, put that album on, and then come back to me, and in the comments, y'all tell me, y'all, she ain't in that heartbreak. Baby, she love that man. That man broke her into pieces. Talk about broken hearted. Almost doesn't count.
Damn. Now that I know that whole album, I'm about to go back and listen to
the whole album is about Wanya.
With adult ears. Cause Lord Jesus.
Listen with adult. If I could play the album, I would. But you know, YouTube is copywriting and all that. The lyrics too true. Yes, exactly.
Truthfully, is too dope. Yes. Hold on. My Bad Baker. Shout out My Bad Baker. She said this was definitely a Gorilla Glue night. It was.
It was. I'm telling you. You know, me reading it, I was just like, many times I was like,
look, and there's certain parts in here that Octavia don't always be telling me. Okay, cause my little heart, it needs to be shared online how things go sometime, because I did not know about that little one line about the song going to Shantae Moore, then going to Jennifer Lopez.
Oh yeah,
Lord,
yes,
Lord, that fire that hit me. I felt the strain. Like what?
Yes.
Why did we do that? What?
Listen, I want to just go through the track list of Never Say Never, because I'm just saying, like, I'm just saying the intro. You know, angel in disguise she was. Somehow you fell for her. The boy is mine is number 3. You fighting over a man who is for everybody. That man is for the streets. She had to learn the hard way. Learn the hard way is crazy. Almost doesn't count. Like I said, my favorite. Sitting on Top of the World featuring Mace, another love interest that she omitted from the. She never talked about Mace or Shine. Pay them dust as she should. You don't know me like you used to. You ain't kissing me no more. I love that song.
Hey,
you don't know me like you used
you
to. Tell me what is going on. Got me
See, you about to make
standing
me go
here
listen
alone.
to this damn
I'm
album,
telling you,
goddamn.
listen to it. Listen, go back, listen. You don't know me. That's another slight to Wanya. You don't know me like you used to. You got me standing here alone. You know. Never say never. Is truthfully, have you ever loved somebody so much it makes you cry? Have you ever needed something so bad? Come on now. Have you ever tried to find the words but they don't come out right? Have you ever?
Have you ever?
And that's one of Brandy's favorites. She made that her own song. Baby, Heartbreak Hotel. Have you ever?
Have you ever searched for words to give your whole heart to, only to find that one won't give their heart to you?
Yes.
God damn it, Brandy.
I'm telling you. Get into it, baby. Get into it. Then, you know, I'm telling you, that album, man. Have you ever? Yes, have you ever? We didn't forget Have You Ever, Dinzy, for sure. Yeah, man, that Have You Ever is heartbreaking. Never say never, never thought of, you know, never say never. Never say never. Never think that it can't be you is what I concluded. Never say never. That was brilliant. That was brilliant. That album right there, that's her best album. You know. That, like I said, Wanya did a terrible thing. But you
look
know,
what beauty came out of it.
But she made it lemonade, baby. God blessed her with something beautiful out of it, because he took her through there, but he gave her an album, a classic. She could tour on that forever. Yeah. So yeah, man.
I'm
just going
a little upset. He took her through there with an S curl.
He took her through there. He took her up through there. Broke
but
her in.
He had an S curl. He had an S curl while he took her through there. I don't like that. That don't sit right with my spirit.
He broke her in. He broke her in, which is a terrible way to put it. But that is what happened for the industry. Because after that, she was never. After that, it was off to the races. It's terrible.
Groomed by a nigga with an S curl.
Groomed all the way. So yeah. But yeah, man. Truthfully, Truthfully is definitely on the album, because it got it got you through being hurt by someone. Okay, yeah, man, I'm telling you, Never Say Never is one of the greatest heartbreak albums ever. That you can play no skips,
front to back. You
can play that album no skips. For me, a classic album is one that you could play no skips. Thriller, no skips. You could play that. You know, I feel like Never Say Never is one of the greatest heartbreak albums ever to live in the world. Like, that is what it is, y'all. But I done spent 3 hours and a half on this live. We did it, Joe. We've come to the close.
That's definitely dope book. That's definitely dope book. If y'all haven't read it, y'all should definitely read that.
Y'all go read it, go get it, get the audio version if you want to just ride to it. Go stream her music, you know, do all the things. Have y'all heard Brandy's Christmas Party for Two? No, I haven't, but I did see that she had a Christmas album. I hadn't really gotten into that. Wow. Child, I be stuck on the classics on Christmas. I don't be making room for nothing else, but I will make it a point to listen, because I love Brandy. I love her. Like, growing up, she was my favorite. Aaliyah, favorite.
Yes.
Yeah, Denzy.
But Brandy, I know, like, coming up, as soon as she had them extensions, child, look.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to get my hair braided. You could tell me Nathaniel.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know, I was like, Brandy's older than me, of course, but I wasn't introduced, like I really wasn't aware of Brandy. I really wasn't really introduced to her until the Never Say Never album, the Boy Is Mine era. You know, that's when I was like introduced, and because I never really watched Moesha like that. I wasn't into all that. So and I still really hadn't watched that, but I was into Brandy musically. I was musically watching her. I was into Brandy as Cinderella, you know, and things of that nature. But musically, baby, that I am a harmony girl. You get me by the harmony. And it makes sense for me to know that Brandy really loved Mariah, because Mariah is a harmony girl. She's gonna give you a harmony front to back, baby. And so will Brandy. I appreciate you, T. Harris. Appreciate you.
We appreciate you. We appreciate you rocking with us all the time.
Yes, y'all. Yes, y'all. But we bid y'all a good night. Make sure, if you haven't already, you know that one thing you gotta do, hit the like button on your way out, and we gonna holla at y'all.
Push your goddamn button.
Push the goddamn button.
Do it now.